Welcome to R&B Sauce. This is DJ Pineapples, and today we have a legend on the show. Someone that has been such a huge part of my love for R&B. He's worked with artists like Bobby V, Mary J. Blige, and Donell Jones. He's won multiple Grammys and sold hundreds of millions of records. And he's one half of the iconic production songwriting duo Tim and Bob. Welcome, Tim Kelley. How are you?
What's up? I'm good, man. How you doing, sis?
I'm good. Do you know what? It really is like such an honor to have you on the show because I love R&B so much from like as young as I can remember, and your music has been such a huge part of that. So like I just want to say thank you for all your contributions. Honestly,
Thank
it's made my life so much fuller, and yeah, you're a legend. I need to give you your flowers.
thank you, man. Thank you for letting people know, what I've done and spinning the records, man. It's really been a joy. Thank you.
For sure. So, Tim, let's bring it back to the start. How did you and Bob meet, and what led to the two of you deciding to form a production duo?
Wow. That's okay. Let me try to shave it a little bit or cut it in half. But what happened was we had a mutual friend, and I guess he knew that Bob was going to be at the mall, like one of the really big malls. It was on the outskirts of Chicago. That's where I was born at. Me and Bob was in Peoria, Illinois. So we met there at the mall, and then I saw him, and then we both played. Started playing on the keyboards, right? So I was like, "Yeah, man, you good, man." I was like, "Man, we got to hook up." He was like, "Yeah." He said, "I'll see you around." So I didn't get his number, right? So I'm like, "Wow, that's weird, man." Skip up a little bit, maybe a day or two after that, my aunt, this is weird. Like my aunt was doing his sister's hair. So when I came in there, like his aunt's, her shop was connected to my dad's barbershop. So they were like, right next to each other, right?
Wow.
So I walked in there to say hi to all of them because like three of my aunts in there, right? So I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" So then his sister was like, "Hi." So skip up a little bit. I ended up getting her number and all that. She was like, she was going to go to her job and then come to my house, right? So she comes over to my house, and I was doing a record, right? And she was like, "Wow." She was like, "You do music?" She was like, "My brother do too." And I'm like, "Oh yeah." So I didn't think nothing of it because I didn't know it was Bob, right? So I kept doing the music, and then all of a sudden the horn was honking outside. So she was like, "Yeah, I gotta go. I'll check you out a little later." I was like, "Okay." She was like, I'm coming," because he kept honking, right? So I'm look real good. I'm like, "That's the guy I saw." So I'm like, "Yo, did he?" I was like, "Yo, what up?" So he looked at me and he realized it was me. He got out the car. We started talking a little bit. He was like, "Hey, yo, man, I produced too." And I was like, "Yeah, your sister told me." He's like, "Let me go get my keyboard, man. I'm gonna come right back." I'm like, "Okay." He was like really shocked that I got to know his sister, right? Mm-hmm. So he went and got his keyboard, came back. We was joined together for like since then on, man. Like put it this way, his parents moved to New York, and he moved in with my family. So he became like a family member, man. It was crazy, man. So me and Bob toured the world just trying to make it, man. And we ended up making it in, we went to Detroit and we started working on some gospel stuff. And we made it when a friend told us about Atlanta, and Dallas was looking for producers. Went to Atlanta, New York, and then I ended up out here.
Wow.
Yeah.
And working with Dallas Austin, like under his production team, what would you say that helped shape your own sound and your own career? What did you learn from him?
Man, that's good. That's a loaded question. I would say I learned a lot from Dallas, man. He's a guy, something else, man. I would say, man, he taught us between him and then he introduced us to LA and Face. So I'll say between Dallas and LA and Face, they showed us because we was real talented at playing because we come from church, obviously.
Yes, that's the best. The best people come from church, 100%.
And it's crazy because you learn how to play a whole bunch of instruments and stuff. And then I was in band, when I was younger. So I knew how to play 30 instruments, but I didn't really know how to make a radio hit record. I just knew how to make music. So I was like, just kind of just walking around, just making music. Didn't even know like, dang, you know what? Some people like music. Some people want a hit. They like, how do you make that be like your signature sound to make a hit. So Dallas showed us that, and then Ellie and Babyface did too. So they showed us really how to make a hit as opposed to like making music, because there is a difference. It really is. You know what I mean? So that's what
And what
I really
about,
learned from Dallas.
because something that I noticed as well of you and Bob is that you write your tracks as well. So when did you start songwriting?
Believe it or not, the second grade, believe it or not. I used to write love
Okay.
letters and write letters to my mom, and she was like, "You're going to be a writer one day." So I was like, "You think so?" But like, I just learned how to write when I was a little kid, man. So that was a skill I always had, man. So, I grew up listening to Earth, Wind and Fire, Confunction, just all the old school bands, right?
Yeah.
So then when we started doing music, I started writing, and then I told Bob about Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and LA and
Mm.
Babyface. So Bob was a writer too, and then he just transferred from, writing gospel music to we just started writing about love. You know what I mean? Which love is God and God is love. You know what I mean? So that's why if you listen to our songs, it's mostly about love. You know what I mean? Because we want to spread that. You know what I mean? I
Yes.
mean, it might sound cliche, but
Mm.
that's how we are, man. It's like I always want to make sure my mom was, when she heard it, she can approve it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It can't be too
exactly.
nasty and too
Oh.
graphic. You know what I mean? It's like you already know, that's gonna eventually happen, but it's like you don't need to talk about it in the records. You know?
Yes. Do you know what? That's something that I really miss. So being like someone that loves R&B and being someone that loves classic R&B but also new R&B, it's definitely something that I notice like nowadays, just like the cursing and the graphicness of it all. And I do miss the 90s and 2000s way of songwriting. I'm like, guys, like it's too much. And like being a radio DJ as well and someone that plays in stores. So like I play for like Nike as well. And I can't play dirty versions in stores. So I've got to clean
Right.
everything. It's like
Right.
extra work for me. And I'm like, we didn't need to do that.
You know what?
Just use a more clever way of saying it.
It sure is. You know what I mean? It's crazy that you say that because if you think about the great writers, man, Babyface, put
Yeah.
Dallas in there, just a lot of producers, man. It's like if you think of R&B,
Mm.
R&B derives from love. If you think about it, it's like you
100%.
was begging your wife, you was begging a
Hmm.
girl you like you was, or if your girlfriend, like you know what I mean, like mad at you for some reason,
Hmm.
you just was always hearing like guys confessing their love to their loved one. You know what I mean? So it's like we did that on wax. We didn't talk about like having
Yeah.
sex. I mean,
Hmm.
so graphic like they do now. You know what I mean? Which I mean, to each his own, but it's like I rather write about like surface things, like about like, about how you love a woman, how much you love a woman, how do you get a woman back, different things like that. It's like, you just leave that graphic stuff to there's so many other ways and other things, other avenues
Exactly.
you can, you know, say that, I don't know.
No, 100%. I completely agree. So I want to take it back to when you guys were working with Monica. I just want to say how much I love like Now I'm Gone and With You. They are songs that I used to have on repeat. Like they are incredible songs. How was it
Thank you.
working with Monica? Because she was super young at that time.
Yeah, she was. She was what, 12? I think she was
That's
12 years old.
crazy.
It's crazy, man. It was a guy that was working at Dart that named Kevin Wells. He went to I think it was a talent show, and he the one that went. We was at another studio. We wasn't at Dart. He came over to the studio. He was like, "Yo, man, I found this little girl, man. Hey, look." He was like, I'm gonna get some footage of her tomorrow, and I want you guys to, you know, kind of like talk up her name and all that to Dallas so we can get this going." So Dallas saw her and he was like, too young, you know what I mean? So we was
Mm.
like, hey man, you know what? We need to go ahead and like get started on it. So me and Bob started. I'm talking about like we did 5. Dallas did 5, but we did
Hmm.
like about altogether maybe about 12. And there's like about 7 or 8 that's not even on the album. Oh my lord! I mean, live strings, orchestra, and all kinds of
Mm.
crap, man. I'll send it to you so you can check them
Please
out.
do. Please do.
Yeah,
And
man.
listen, I know
You
your
will
vault
lose
is
your
crazy.
mind, man. You will lose your mind. I'm telling you, man. We did
Yeah,
some
that
crazy stuff on there. But
that is one of my
yeah,
favorites. That's one of my favorite Monica albums. Miss
yeah,
Thing. That was a great introduction. But you know
it
what?
sure
Like
was.
in the 90s, you had like Monica, Brandy, and Aaliyah as well. Like the young teenage girls really were killing it.
Yeah, I worked on all 3 of them, man. There was some. I mean, Brandy,
Wow.
Aaliyah, and Monica. Oh man, that's a trio right there. I mean, golly. But Monica's
Wow.
like our little sister, man, because we work with her so much, and we was with her like, I mean, at least about what, maybe about a year every single day working on the album. I mean, we came up with some crazy stuff. So Dallas would walk in the room and like, hey, okay, I see what y'all doing now, man. Okay, he said, finish those, and then I'm gonna come in and do what I got to do, man. If y'all think of something, hear something, just play on some of my stuff if y'all got some ideas. So we did like about, I don't know, like 12. Then Dallas did his 7 or 8, I think, and then you
Mhm.
just filled everything in from there, and that was the
Yeah.
album, man.
That's a
Yeah.
classic album. But you know what? You just mentioned something. So I did not know that you worked with Aaliyah. Can you please tell
Oh
me
yeah.
about that? Like Aaliyah is like one of my favorite artists of all time. Like her sound, Timbaland and Missy, what they created, like so timeless. So I had no idea. Tell me about it.
I'm gonna tell you what's crazy. I'm gonna tell you what's crazy. Let me give you a little bit of insight here. Okay, so I was living. Okay, so Bob, he went to after maybe about like 3 years. He went back to his mom and dad's crib. Right, it was in New York. So another church came to New York that was from Detroit, and he didn't know, but that was Aaliyah's uncle. So
Okay.
he went and played for that church. And then later on met Aaliyah, right? So he was like,
Wow.
yo, man, you need to come to Detroit, man. Da, 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 da. I'm like, okay. So he talked to this one lady that was trying to get a production company going. So I ended up living with her. And then
Oh wow.
I met Bob over at the guy that was Aaliyah's uncle at her house, and we met her there. So we
Wow.
already knew her before Monica, but we
Wow.
weren't
That's
like
crazy.
hit producers yet. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we go to Atlanta and we did Monica, TLC, Boys and Men.
Yeah.
Then Aaliyah hit us and was like, "Do y'all remember me?" And we was like, "Yeah, she was like, yo, man, I need some records, man." So we ended up working with her, and that was really good, way to reconnect
Wow.
again, man. She was dope, man. But I'm gonna tell you, you're right what you said. Missy and Timberland. Oh
Yeah.
Lord.
So what album was it that she asked for some records for?
It was the first album, but
Okay.
none of them got on the album because R. Kelly did. She got signed to,
Yes.
yeah, she signed to R. Kelly, so we ended up doing the whole album.
Okay.
Which
Have you got some of them? Have you got some of them records? Please
I
send them
sure
to
do.
me.
I'm about to send that too. I'll send it all
Aaliyah's
to you.
like my favorite.
Yeah, she's bad, man. I mean, she has a
Wow.
silky voice, man. I mean,
Her
man.
tone, her tone was
Oh
so
Lord.
special. Like I was saying to Alex Isley recently that like their tones both are like so angelic to me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can put them on and just it feels like you can relax. It makes it feel like you're like it's therapeutic to listen to them,
Yeah,
you know?
I
And Aaliyah had
yes,
that
it is.
special tone as well.
Yeah,
So yeah, please send them over. I'm very
I
excited to
got you.
hear that.
I got you. I got you. You're gonna flip your lid, man. They probably could
Yeah,
come out right now, believe it or not, because we was always like ahead of
yeah.
what's going on. We'd be like, okay, this is on the radio right here. Let's go ahead and kind of
Mhm.
step into the future and see what you can do. You know what I mean? So a lot of this
Wow.
stuff can come out right now, believe it or not, man. I mean,
Yeah.
them two, Joe. I mean, we got about like 15 on Joe.
Listen, we're gonna talk about that. We will talk about that later.
All right.
Joe is like my king of R&B. So we're definitely gonna get into Joe later on.
Yeah,
But I just want to talk
Joe's awesome.
about for sure. I just want to talk about the heartbreaking news today that we got about Dwayne Wiggins passing away. And I know that you worked with him early on in your career with Destiny's Child. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. Well, what happened was, so Daryl Simmons, that was Babyface and LA and Babyface's partner.
Yeah.
His cousin ran into Destiny's Child, and he didn't know what to do with him because he didn't do
Mm.
up tempo. So he told us like, "Hey man, I found these girls, man. Like they're really young. They're only like 12 and 13. Y'all want to see if y'all can, do whatever on them?" We was like, "Yeah." So we ended up like maybe like that next week, we start working on them, and
Mhm.
then what happened is we did like maybe like I don't know like 7 or 8 because we got really really cool with them and Beyonce's mom because she was chaperoning them because they were so young. So
Yeah.
skip up. We was in New York and we did a showcase for Columbia. So he's doing the records. They closed all the doors and was like, "Hey, we want to sign him right now." He's like, "Go ahead and sign." I'm like, so we were stuck, you know what I mean? Because we signed to Dallas. So he's like, dang. So I called Dallas right there. I was like, hold on, let me see. Called Dallas. Dallas was like, nah, y'all can't do that, man. We was like, what?
Oh,
We was like,
damn.
they want to sign him, man. He was like, nah, man. So what happened was we was talking to D Wiggins, and he was like, yo, man, he was like, I just got a deal over here, so I could sign him. We was like, okay, let's do it. So we ended up signing him through him, and then they got on Columbia. That's what happened, man. So he's a really
Wow.
cool dude, man. It's sad that he passed away. They said he had I don't know,
Cancer.
kidney or something. Yeah.
I think it was, yeah, cancer. But I know that he just, he worked with artists as well, like Alicia Keys and Keisha Cole. Like,
Yeah.
and obviously Tony, 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 Tony is incredible. Like his legacy.
I know they're ripped up, man. But you know what? I think he was battling that for like the last year. So
Yeah.
no more pain, no more, man. He's up in heaven.
I
You know what I mean?
know.
So that's all. That's the good part about this. But it's sad because all of us that knew him, you know what I mean? We're like,
Of
man, there's so
course.
much unfinished business, man. But
Exactly. What a legend.
so
What a legend and
yeah,
what a
you
legacy.
know, right. There's a lot of
Mhm.
people that passed away this week, though.
Exactly.
Hip
Angie
hop,
Stone, I couldn't believe it. Like
yeah,
Voyez as well. Roberta Flack. It's been a really hard week, like of just,
yeah.
just being on your phone and then all of a sudden on Instagram, seeing like a new story come up of someone that we've lost again. It's been a very, very hard week for sure in music, in R&B, and
It's
soul.
unfortunate. It's really
For
unfortunate. But
sure.
you know what? It's you know what it is. I can say this too to to kind of shed some light on it. It's like a lot of people they live their life and then we get old, so we stay attached to them. We don't want them to be called to heaven. You know what I'm saying? So
Of
it's like
course.
we be looking at it one way, like, dang, I can't believe he passed away. But then you'll be like, okay, but you're talking like they was 85 and 90 years old. I hope I live that long.
Yeah.
It's like you could look at it like that. Like some of the people like lived their life and it was like time for them to transition, man. It's like, they get called home. So all we
For
can do is just
sure.
trust in God and his purpose and
Yeah.
his ways, man. And, hope that we take care of ourselves and,
For
watch out
sure.
for one another, you know what I mean? And call your loved ones, just let them know you care, you know what I mean? It's like, that goes a long way,
Definitely.
man. Saying you love someone, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
That goes a long way, man. And a lot of guys, they think they're too macho for that, or like, oh, I'm too hard to say. Man, you know what? You good? You okay? Okay, man. Love you, man. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, need to spread love.
yeah, it's like
Yes.
if you really love the guy, you love him. And yeah, that don't mean
Yeah.
or something like
Let
that, man. Which is nothing wrong with that neither. You know what I mean? But I'm saying, like,
Exactly.
that
No,
don't
I
that
agree.
don't mean that, man. It just means that you
Yeah.
want to spread some love. That's all, man. So I love all my guys, man, all
Yes.
my friends, man. I tell them I love them, man, because I had a scare myself. You know what I mean? So I know
Yes.
how that is, man. It's like you just want somebody to say I love you, man. It's like that goes a
Mm.
long way, man. I'm telling you, it really does.
And how are you doing yourself now with your
I'm doing
health?
good. Thank you. Thanks for asking,
Yeah.
man. I had a stroke maybe about a year and a half ago. Um,
Wow.
and it was touch and go there for a minute, but thanks to the
Wow.
doctors in Chicago and Jamie Foxx got me into this place, Shirley Ryan, that he went to, and they really
Mm.
helped me out and brought me back. You know what I mean? So
So you're
shout
doing
out to them, man.
much
Doing amazing.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thanks
Oh,
for
that's
asking.
that's amazing to hear. So
Thank
do you know what? Let's also talk about the work that you've done on 112's debut album. You were part of building that sound early on with tracks like Come See Me and Can I Touch You. What was it like working with them at that stage in their career as a group just starting out?
Believe it or not, we found them and put them together.
Oh, wow, really?
We found them one by, believe it or not, we found them one by one. And the two guys that's in Jagged Edge right now, Wingo and
Kyle.
Kyle. Wingo and Kyle, we had them with 112. So because they all
What?
friends. Yep. So when them two didn't make it, we put them with the twins. So we had Jagged Edge and
What?
112. Dallas didn't sign neither one of them. How about that? It's crazy.
Oh my,
So we
that
talked
is
about
crazy.
how about we talk to Dallas right now to this day? He like, hey, man, I don't know what I was thinking, man. But
Oh
anyway,
my.
so what happened was a guy named K Wells took him to Diddy, and then he signed him, and then
Yeah.
Clive liked the demos that we did, so he had to come back and like talk to us. He was like, "Hey, yo, man, Tim and Bob, man, I need that sound, man. The sound is them, man. He said, nobody can do it, man. He said, I tried everybody, man. They can't duplicate what y'all did. He was like, so we need them, man. We need.
They need,
So,
yes.
yeah, so he flew us to New York, and we was there for like a year. We had to move to New York to work on the album, man. That's how many records we did.
Wow.
Yeah, so we was going back and forth. We was going from Atlanta to New York working on the album, and we worked with Soul for Real, which
Yeah.
was Heavy D was over there, and then we did the Vibin remix.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
Then we found another thing. We found we didn't find them, but I guess we did. I mean, we didn't discover them. We just, we saw them in the studio, and then we told them to meet us in New York. Is Chad and Pharrell. We got them signed.
Wow.
So we got them to do the first records that was on Mace.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's it again? Looking at me, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
That's what got them popping, man.
Wow. Because I know they were working with like Teddy Riley quite early on as well, weren't they?
Yeah, they sure were.
Yeah.
So they did Rump Shaker, and then they was looking for like, more things coming. And I guess Teddy was busy on something.
Yeah.
So they came to Atlanta to work on something. I think it was Joe. They was working on Joe one time.
Really?
Yeah.
I know that they done like the SWV stuff.
Yeah.
Use Your Heart they done, and the Right Here, right at the start, Pharrell was saying SWUSV.
Right.
He does that, yeah.
So
wow.
It's crazy. I was going to the restroom, right? Now I hear this music, man. I'm like, damn, this is kind of weird and quirky. So I walked in the room. Them two, I was like, dog. I was like, I don't know who y'all are, because there was a lot of producers that was coming to Dallas' studio, right? So I was like, hey, man, you know what? I don't know who y'all are, man, but whatever this is, y'all keep doing it, right? And I was about to walk away, and Pharrell came out the door. He was like, hey, are you Tim or Bob? So I was like, I'm like, how you know who I am? So I was like, Tim, man. He was like, hey, man, I saw you guys in a magazine, man, in Billboard magazine. He was like, as upcoming producers, man. He was like, man, what can y'all? He was like, can y'all introduce me to Dallas? I'm like, hold on. That was back when Dallas was the biggest producer, right?
Yeah.
We go in there and we tell Dallas about him. He heard the music and it was so weird to him that he didn't sign him. He didn't pay no attention to him. So he's like, guys, he's like, we're about to go to New York. If y'all can meet us there, we'll introduce y'all to Diddy, because he was starting Bad Boy. So we helped start that.
Yeah.
And he needed producers, and they came in, and that's how that happened. Via them, and then we was working at 112.
Wow.
So connected some kind of way, you know what I mean?
So Dallas passed on Neptune's Jagged Edge and 112. That's gotta hurt.
And 112, Destiny's Child.
Destiny's Child. Oh my.
Sure. I mean, I can go. Man. He could have seen so many people, man. But Dallas, one of them dudes, when he has something in his head.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not thinking about like what's going on. He's just like, no, I got to get to this. I got to get to that. He's got a bunch of mind, man. You know what I mean?
And do you know what? So last year when Money Long dropped her album, I listened to her track "Leave My Baby Tonight," and that samples "Come See Me" from 112. Yeah, that must be amazing. Like just hearing your music living on with like artists sampling it today.
Yeah, it does, man. I feel pretty honored about that.
That's one of my favorite tracks on the album as well.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. That's a hot one right there. What's crazy is I found out about that record because I think my cousin told me about that, and then I found out who managed her. And how about my old manager manages her?
Oh wow!
Yeah,
wow.
the guys that was working with let me see, Ludacris. Ludacris's manager. His managers is managing her. So I was like, yo, does she need any more records, man? He was like, no, we just need this one. We need to clear this, man. How can we get it cleared? I'm like, well, you're talking to the right person. So, one thing led to another. But I was honored, though. Yeah, I really were.
Yeah, a great track. And I also noticed that Wanye from Boyz II Men is credited as a songwriter and producer on Can I Touch You? What's the story behind that?
You know what? That's one of the records that we did on them. And I think that the other guys, man, they kind of like didn't give it a thumbs up, but we did it on Boyz II Men. So Wanye was so mad. He was like, you know what, man, I want to do this on 112. We was like, you really want to? He was like, yeah. We was like, okay. And he didn't make it because they was doing a show. They was doing some shows then. So Bob and myself, we ended up we ended up producing it. And we just gave Wanya credit because he produced her with us on Boys and Men. So that's why we just,
Okay.
yeah, that's how he got credit on there. Cause we was like, you know what, we brothers, man. So we came up with it together for Boys and Men. So let's go ahead and keep it, you know what I mean? Keep it popping,
That
man. So
must
that's
be
why he got on
painful,
there.
though. That must be really painful, you know, like when you love a song, but your group members are like, yeah, let's not do this one. And it's like, you really want to do it.
Yeah, you know what? It's unfortunate, man. You gotta have, man, thick skin because
Yeah.
in this business, man, it's like you'll be thinking like, dang, this is the best song that they got. Yeah. You know what I mean? All of a sudden they leave it off
Yeah.
and you're like, are
Like,
you
what's going
kidding
on?
me, man? Yeah, man.
Exactly.
You really got to have thick skin and you got to be able to let things bounce off of you like that, man. You'll learn as you go because it happens like almost every artist, man. It's like about like 5 joints, man, that you did that won't make the album. So you just got to be like, okay, I'll just put them on the next artist,
Yeah.
man. And you just move on, you know?
Exactly. Just try and give them to different artists, I guess, and try and ship them for different placements.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's really weird though, man, because, you know, just thinking back, man, you know, we'll get into it a little later, man. That's going to be a whole nother thing.
But no, I love that track though. Like I could definitely hear it on Boyz II Men as well. But I feel like 112 done an amazing job. And you were also part of their Part 3 album, which was an album for me that I played out. And the track Smile and Caught Up. Like I used to have them on repeat and Smile, that bridge. Oh,
Thank you. Man, you're a walking encyclopedia, man. Golly, I love it.
that
I
is
love
me.
it. I
Like
love it.
I am
I love it.
literally, like I told you, Tim, I'm literally obsessed with R&B. Like, and something about me is like, I love old R&B, but I also try and stay updated with what's going on right now too.
It's crazy. I'm the same way, man. It's like, you know what? Even though a lot of people be like, yo, I love the 90s and, you know, the 80s and, you know, they want to go back. I'm like, which I do too. But then you want to be like caught up with what's going on too right now, even though it's like not everything is like our cup of tea, but it's like, you know, you got to try to find something, you know what I mean? Because it's like, you don't want to be the person on the sidelines hating on them, hating on the young people that's trying because they're trying, you know what I mean? It's just that they grew up in a different era, man. That's all it is, man.
For
It's like,
sure.
yeah, this era is just different than what it was in the 90s. In the 90s, it was totally different. It's like anything goes, man. It's coming back. It's coming back slowly but surely.
Definitely is. Like to be honest, like on my show, so every Sunday I have an R&B show where I play music and it's majority new, but I do have like a classic section. I've had like a Tim and Bob like section where I just play you guys music for half an hour and like yeah, all the time. But like with the new R&B artists, I do feel like there is a lot of greatness, like Lucky Day, like Kenyon Dixon, Alex Isaac, Tori Monet. Like there is a lot of Leon Thomas right now is killing it. So
yeah, you know, it's crazy that
I only play the great stuff.
You know what? It's crazy that you mentioned them, man. Those some really great artists you named, man. I actually worked with Lucky Day, but the records didn't make it on his album. I worked with him. Leon, I think Tyrese discovered him. Tyrese is one of my best friends. He discovered him, and I was going to work on him, but that didn't happen. And then Kenyon, man, I got about like 10 records on him. I could make a whole album on him. That's like my little brother. Yeah. I got like 10 records on him, man. I was just listening to him yesterday, matter of fact.
I know that Kenyon came up with like Tyrese as well, isn't it? So
Oh yeah. That's our little brother, man.
Singer. Yeah. And him writing on TGT's album. Like
You know what's so crazy, man, is like I was talking to him I'm going back on when we was recording some of the records for Tyrese. I was telling him he was really like fascinated that I'm a producer and a writer. I was like, you know what? Back in the 90s, man, I'm telling you, if you didn't know how to write, it was weird for you not to be able to produce and write. If you go back, all the producers, man, they can either come up with the hook or the melodies or something because we're the ones that made the track. So you already have the melodies of how you think it should go because you're thinking about the beat. So you already kind of have either the melody or you have the hook. It's one or the other. That's why us, Teddy, on and on and on. It goes on. You know, Babyface, R. Kelly. I know it's kind of taboo to say his name, but anyway, he's a bad dude. So 100%. All of us was writers and producers. You know what I mean? It was like the 90s was full of them. Now it's like everybody just do the track and don't know how to write. It's like I'm looking at them like, You did the track. You don't hear nothing on your track? That's weird. I guess it's
Yeah.
a different, like I said, though, it's a different era, man, you know?
I know that Brian Michael Cox as well, he writes.
Yeah, he sure does. Yeah.
But yeah, like I bet like because you're making the production and producing the beat, like you have a vision of how you want it to sound, right?
Exactly.
At
And you know
least
what? And we were raised on R&B music. So it's like when you're doing a track, you automatically hear the melody. So it's like, you know what, you put the melody with the track and then
exactly.
there you go. It kind of feels better to me when you can write and do the track because you're listening to what you think the melody should go based on the gaps in the track. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's what I base it on. I'm like, you know what? If they said this right here, they'll be part of the track as opposed to, you know, the words all over the track like what's going on today. It's like,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? It's like everybody be like
100%.
trying to rap, man. I'm like,
Yeah,
this is
I'm not
R&B, man.
I'm not for that at all. I don't play that on my show. Like so R&B Sauce, I am supporting vocalists, people that are really singing. Like that is me.
You know what? I love it that you name an R&B sauce, man, because you think of so much stuff with that, man. You know, you like
Yeah.
sauce, man. That might mean a whole bunch of stuff is like, you know, really, really R&B. You know what I mean? It's like where it came
Exactly.
from, man, and what we
For
really
sure.
do, you know what I mean, for a living. And that's why we love it, you know?
For sure. Even like when I interview artists at the end, I ask them to do an a cappella because the people that I interview are real singers. So
Right.
they can do it, you know?
Right. I love that, man. You know what?
Yes.
You know what? I think real singers, they live for that. You know what I mean? It's like
Exactly.
they're always ready to show their skill
For
if they're
sure.
real artists as opposed to people that kind of can hold a melody a little bit and then you put them on the spot. They're like,
Exactly.
wait a minute, I didn't know you was gonna do that because they're like, okay, I can't really sing, but I can sing. You know what I mean?
I can sing in the studio, right?
Right, exactly. It's crazy,
It's
man.
the truth. But you know what? Talking of great singers, right? You have created some magic with Dave Hollister on songs like We've Come Too Far, Destiny, and Take Care of Home. How was it working with a vocalist like Dave?
Man, you know what's so crazy, man? Because I know exactly what he's trying to do, man. And he comes from church, so he's like,
Yeah.
he's really trying to sing, but it's like you got to wrestle him, man. I'm telling you, you got to be like, Dave, look, okay, what you can do, they can't do that when they listen to it. So when you're doing all them runs and all that stuff you can do with your voice, man, like the regular person that goes to work 9 to 5, they can't do all this stuff. So we got to think about them. You know what I mean? We got to think about like when they hear a record, what goes in their ear, what they can really catch. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
to go back, you know, Dallas and LA and Babyface, here we go. They're learning and their techniques and their know-how of making records gotta kick in. You know what I mean? They're like, okay, when you do the hook, when you do the first hook, don't mess with that. Don't have them sing over that.
Yes.
Then the
Yeah.
second one, kind of have them a little bit sprinkles. Then on the end,
Yeah.
maybe you know you do a little bit, but at first you have them sing with the hook. So if you think about like Tony Braxton and you know Whitney Houston and all the records that they did, you'll hear that they just sing along with the track until maybe the end. So that's what we had to
Yeah.
do with David Hollister, man, because you know he got so many. He's so talented, you know what I mean. So it's like
For
you gotta
sure.
pull him back and you know give him some room to do all that stuff on stage.
It's about the build as well, though, you know, when you're listening to
Exactly.
a track. Yeah, you can't give too much away straight away.
You
And you
can.
know what? That's something I actually miss though in R&B is like, you know, when you'd have the ad libs all the way to the end and
Hmm.
you literally would have to listen to the last second because it's like, that's your part. Like, you know?
Exactly.
I
That's
miss
the,
that.
you know, that you like, okay, I've been waiting for this right here. And then they just do their thing, you know what I mean? So
For
now it's like,
sure.
now they don't do nothing. It's just like, they just make the
Yeah.
hook go all the way through from the beginning to the end. You're like, hey,
I
you
mean,
know what? You know, you know what, man? I don't want to be, I always be like, you know what? I don't want to be the person on the sidelines hating on them because they're trying, man. They really are, man. They trying, man. It's just they ain't really listening to what we done because we already said everything, you know, the way music should be. based off the 70s and 80s. So that's why we gave you the 90s. That's why the 90s is so good, right? You know what I mean? So, when you go into what's going on now, if you go, it's like they was born and didn't even listen to any of the records that we did in the 90s. They just went and just did their own thing. And
Exactly.
without thinking about the golden years, you know what I mean? Like, they're like, oh, we're gonna do what we're gonna do. It's like, no, we set you all up. Y'all ready, you know what I mean? Like, y'all can go and take what we did and just build onto that. They actually, went somewhere
Exactly.
else, man.
I
They want to be
completely agree.
rappers, man. It's like, where's the
Yeah.
singing at? Where's
Yeah, I
the
think
singing?
the
Where's the
hip hop.
love?
Exactly. The hip hop and R&B like lines, they definitely got blurred. And like
Yeah,
even, bridges is something that I
yeah.
love, right? And we still have some artists that are doing them. So I'm not saying they're not around, but compared to in the 90s and 2000s, like that was on like every song, like pretty much had a bridge. And yeah,
No, it
that's
was
something we
like,
don't get.
you know what? That was the criteria back then, man. And then you know what? I'm gonna tell you, I think of why R&B lovers really love bridges is because with a bridge in a song, you got two songs in one song. If you really think about it,
Exactly.
it's like you
Yeah.
got the song going and you jam into that, and then when you go to a bridge, it's like you're like, whoa, what's this? And then you forgot about what that song was actually doing just for a second, and then all of a sudden it comes out the bridge and go back to it. You're like, wait a minute, that's two songs in one right there. Now I got two for one. It's crazy.
It's
Now
a
it's just like
lift.
now it
But it's
just
also
goes.
like it's the most musical part as well, you know?
Right. You can
Yeah. So
actually make it a little build up and then you take it back.
yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I just miss that, man. You know what I mean? That
I
that that
miss it
really made the 90s like something special.
for
80s
sure.
and 70s, you know what I mean? But
Exactly. I mean, we didn't have like the time limit nowadays. Like songs are so short.
I think that's what it is. I
Yeah.
think that's what the kids these days is thinking about too. They're like, no, we gotta make it like the rappers. We need it to be only like 2 minutes and 30 seconds or 3 minutes because these days the
Mm.
radio only gonna play the beginning and maybe the middle because
Yeah.
it's mixed stations all the time. If you think
Okay.
about it, they're just doing like because you're a DJ. It's like
Yeah,
they're
for
like
sure. But on my
they just
radio
want to.
show, I play the whole song out. I don't mix.
Oh, you do? Oh,
Or if I do mix, it would be literally the last hook, like the last chorus. Like that song is playing out. If I'm playing R&B, if there's a bridge, you are getting the bridge. There's no way am I cutting that off.
man, you need to come. You need to come here, man, so you can set the record straight, so you can get them back,
I
knowing what
know.
R&B really is. Then you know what I mean? Because it's
Exactly.
like they are like I don't know. It's a little weird, man, but I mean it's slowly coming back. It's just gonna take an army of
Yeah,
us just to get back and really
for
let these
sure.
kids know that look, music is supposed to be like this. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And
Yeah, for sure.
we'll set it right and really stamp it and bring it back. It'll come back.
I think so as well. And another song that you done with Dave Hollister is that "I'm Sorry, My Favorite Girl" remix. It's
Yeah.
one of like the greatest R&B remixes in history. It really brought a new life to it. Whose idea was it to do a remix, and how did you approach giving that song like the signature Tim and Bob feel?
Okay. Well, first of all, man, you are a walking encyclopedia. Let me tell you that. But what happened was, okay, what happened is we ended up getting a deal with DreamWorks, right? So the first thing they had us do is they was like, "Hey, y'all want to do a remix on Dave Hollister?" So I always loved Dave. You know what I mean? I already knew that who he had sung with and went on the road with and all that, different stuff before he
Yeah.
got a deal. So I was like, Dave Hollister? I'm like, wow, I love him. And they was like, can y'all do a remix on this right here? I was like, I mean, we can remix anything. So, they was like, listen to it and see what you could do. So I was listening to it, right? And Stevie J, I think, did the original. So we was listening to it. We was
Yes.
like, okay, I like what he did, but I think we can do a different spin on it. So I was like, yo, I hear something really, really good for that. They sent them there. They sent them to Atlanta. We was in Atlanta back then. And we did it in one night. We did it in one night and I mixed it. I mixed
Wow.
we did the vocals. We did the vocals on the track, and then I mixed it, and then they mastered it in the next week, and then it was a single after that. It was quick.
Just That
I
song, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I didn't really think they was gonna like it, man. But Dave liked it afterwards.
Really?
We was like, okay, Dave liked it. I mean, that's all that counts, man. You know what I mean? But then it turns out they really, really loved it up there. So we was like, oh, okay, cool. So
That
they
song
made
is
they made it a
incredible.
single, man. Yeah, we was pretty honored on
Yeah.
that, man. You know what? That's a big bridge in that one.
Yes,
If you go
exactly.
back, now that I
And
go back and think about it, it's a good bridge in that one. That was one of our best bridges, man.
yeah, I agree. Literally, like for me, if someone was like, play a song that defines like your taste in R&B, like I would play that song. Like that song
Oh,
is
thank you.
no,
Thank you.
honestly, that
Yeah,
song, when I hear it, I'm just like, oh,
yeah.
it's
Dave is singing his,
incredible.
he's singing his mouth off, man. On that,
He
he
really
is
is. And
really,
the
really singing,
production as
man.
well. Like you guys killed that.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, we're just doing what we do, man. You know what I mean? You know what, man? You know what we do? We just put all our ingredients in the pot and stir it all up. You'll get Gamble and Huff. You'll get Ellie and Babyface. You'll get the guys that was in Why You Treat Me So Bad. Remember that? Remember that song? That was dope. So what was
Hmm.
those producers? We'll come back to it. But anyway, so them, Jam and Lewis, we just mix
Oh
it all in the
gosh.
pot, man. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's what you get with us.
All
I
your
mean, and then
inspirations, like
yeah, exactly. So all my inspirations, man. I mean, everybody. Maurice White from Earth, Wind and Fire.
yes.
Uh, everybody, man. The producer from the Beatles, all the way. It's like there's so many people that when I make a song, I'm thinking about. I'm like, how would they? I'll be like, how would they approach it? How would they approach it? How would they approach it? That's all in my
Wow.
mind every time I'm doing a record, man. You know what I mean? And then that's me right there at the end of it. It's like I'm thinking about like I don't know, like 12 different producers, man. You know what I'm saying? It's
That
like,
is
I don't,
that's one of my favorites though, for sure, that
yeah,
you guys done.
yeah,
It's
thank you, man. I appreciate that,
amazing
man.
song.
Thank
So
you.
do you know what? Let's go back to 1997 and talk about the John B classic They Don't Know. Nearly 30 years later, it's still just as loved. I've seen John B in concert like multiple times, and every time that song comes on, like everyone is singing word for word and goes crazy. When you were creating that track with John, did you know that it would become such a timeless classic?
No, I didn't, man. I did not know. I had no idea, man. You know what? You know what's crazy is our manager told us that John B wanted to work with us, and you know, Babyface wanted us to work on it. So we was really honored. So I was like, you know what, man, I got to make Babyface really proud of me, man. So I just thought of that night before he came in, before he flew, because he flew in town from here in Los Angeles to Atlanta. So we were
Okay.
like, so I started messing with the chords, and then what I did is I sampled myself on a guitar, like when it goes, ding, that's me playing the guitar.
Ooh.
I just sampled myself, so I just hit it on the MPC. I hit it every time, and I was like, hey, this is not bad, man. So I started messing with it a little bit, and then Bob came with that change, and then there it
Mhm.
was. So when John came in, we was like, he was like, I want to start an R. He said, I said, what you want to start first? He was like, an up tempo. And then I was like, dang. I was like, you know what? I thought you was gonna say, man, a slow song because you had Pretty Girl, and then well,
Yeah.
no, Pretty Girl was on that album because we
Mhm.
helped him with that. But it was Someone to Love when he came off of that out, the record. I was already
Oh,
thinking that he wanted a slow song. So that's what made me come up with They Don't Know. But I was like, okay, man, let me look through them. So we started looking through them, and then that's when we did Bad Girl. We did that
yes.
first. We did that first, and then I came back to They Don't Know. And he heard it and was like, man, yo, let me just go in the booth with with no words. So he went in the booth and we started going back and forth. He was like, heard about my past, and I was like, things you used to do. He was like, the girls that didn't last, da 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 da. So we just started going back and forth all the way down the record. Like so we recorded them after that, and then when we did with some space, he come up with something, then I would come up with something. We just kept back and forth doing that all the way down. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? And we didn't, you know what? We didn't think nothing of it. We just, mixed it and went to the next thing, man. And then all of a sudden they called us like, hey, They Don't Know it's going to be a single. I was like, are you serious? I'm like, okay, all right. And it did what it
Wow.
did, man. It's like you don't really know what it's going to do that, you know what I mean? But you got to have like, the blessing of God, man. You know what I mean? You really do because, and you know what? I got this from Quincy. He was like, do the record, leave a little bit for God to walk in the room and bless it and do his thing. So I always thought about that. And Quincy told me that when I was, I know you probably gonna mention it because you're a walking encyclopedia of music, but so into you. He told
Yes,
me that when I was
you
doing that
know.
record. Yeah, he was like,
Wow.
"Hey man," he's like, "You." He said, "Man, you must, man." He said, "Man, you're gonna be." He said, "You're gonna be big." And I was like, "Why you say that?" He was like, "Cause you care too much." I was like, "The heck does that mean, man?" And that was messing with me for the whole night. I was like, "What's you care too much mean?" And then he
Yeah.
came in. He came in right, and he said this right here. He was like, "You know what?" He's like, "Man, you're gonna be really big, man." And I was like, "What?" I said, "Why you keep saying that, man?" He was like, "Man, I don't know, man." He was like, "Man, you do the record, man, and you leave a little bit for God in the room." Huh? And I was like, "Man, that's crazy that you say that." I was like, "I
Mm,
do." And he was like, "Yeah, you're gonna be big." And I don't know,
yeah.
that just stuck with me, man, all the way until now. You know what I mean? It
So basically,
really did.
you're a perfectionist. Okay, so talking about John B's They Don't Know, I also want to talk about one of my favorite John B tracks, Now That I'm With You. How did that track come together?
Man. Well, you know what's crazy is I did the track before he flew in because I was living in Atlanta at the time. And I sampled myself doing the guitar riffs, but I didn't think nothing of it. You know what I mean? He came in and he was like, "I want to start a fast song." So I was like, "Dang!" I thought he wanted to, start a slow song, thinking about someone in love. You know what I mean? So we ended up. Ended up going through like some up tempos, like 10 of them. And he was like, "Wait, go back to that first one." So I went back to it, and he was like, "Yeah, I want to do that one." I was like, "All right." So he won the booth, and then we just started like going back and forth off each other, and that's how we did Bad Girl. And then he heard the track from They Don't Know, and he was like, "Oh my goodness, man!" He was like, "Let me mess with that." He run right in the booth. I'm like, "Okay, you don't want to write anything down?" He's like, "No, we're gonna do the same thing." So we just went back and forth again. Like
Mhm.
he said, heard about my past. I said things we used to do. He was like, "Girls have done something, whatever." And I was like, "Girls that didn't last." We just went all the way down like that, writing it. We did it. I mixed it. I didn't think nothing of it. I went to the next artist, and then his label called and said it's a single. So I was like, "Oh, okay." And then it
Wow.
just did what it did, man. It just went. It went. It started off. It started off on the right side of the chart, and then in about 2 or 3 weeks, man, it was like number two and number one. We was like, "Wow, man! Thank you, Lord."
That is a R&B classic. Like
Yeah,
everyone knows every word. Like when that song comes on, like the emotion, the feeling. Yeah, that is a iconic song. Like that's the song that's gonna live forever.
yeah, it is the gift that keeps on giving for us. But it's like
I can
we didn't
imagine.
know at first. You just thought, it's just one of them things where you just do the record and you just hope that end up doing something for a minute, but then you move on to the next artist and you just forget about it because you get
Yeah.
your mind gets into that certain artist you're working on, and then when you get that big call, you're like, "Huh? Man,
Yeah.
I'm on to something else now. Y'all want to do that?" Then you go back and listen to that. You get back into it. It's really weird. It's a weird
Sure, I
thing
can
that happens.
imagine.
Yeah,
So
it really is.
what about your track with him, Now That I'm With You? What was the creation like for that track?
Same thing.
Yeah.
Man, you know all of the tracks, man. Wow.
Yeah,
Gee
I
whiz, man.
love that. I love that song.
You know what? It was the same thing, man. We except only thing changed is where we recorded it at. We recorded it out here in LA in a
Okay.
studio that's real seclusive and hidden. So that's what made us come up with that track. He comes in and we did the same thing. He goes in a booth and we just went back and forth, and that's what you hear now. You know what I mean? But again, we didn't think nothing of it. It was a single. It didn't do what They Don't Know did, but it did pretty good though. But it didn't do what They Don't Know did. But I love it just as much. It's just that they put out
Exactly.
I think 2 or 3 tracks before that, so everybody got tired of the album. I guess you know what I mean. I guess that happened.
Yeah, but you know what? Like real R&B lovers, like we love that song as well, you know. Now that I'm with you, oof,
Thank you, man.
the feeling that that gives me, yeah, that is
Yeah,
another
yeah,
classic.
it does. It
Mhm,
does me too. You know what? I really like that because I really like the sound of it.
mhm.
Because there's a lot of records that I do that at first I like them, but then when I hear them on the radio, I'm like, dang, I should have turned this up. I should have turned this down. I should have did this. I should, you know what I mean? I'm always in my head, man.
That's the
That's one.
perfectionist in you.
Yeah, it is. But that's
Hmm.
one record that I'm like, dang, I wouldn't change anything on that one right there, man. I mean, that's kind
Wow.
of, that is what it is. You know what I mean? It sounds just like I was thinking. Put it that way.
That's another special record. So do you know what? Talking of special records, we're gonna get into Tamia's So Into You. So, so I heard a rumor that was originally for Brandy's Never Say Never album. Can you tell us like what was going on with that track?
You know what? It's crazy, man. No, what happened was it was for Beyonce. It was for Destiny's
Mhm.
Child.
Oh, I know what you're on about. That pre, right?
Yeah. So we did.
Yes.
I came up with the pre-chorus for the song I did on Beyonce because her voice changed when she was from 12 to 15. So they had her come in and we did like maybe 5 more tracks, but that didn't make none of them made it. We was like bummed out too because I thought it was some really good stuff that we did. But anyway, so what I did is that that song that I the sample that's in So Into You, my dad's band used to do that all the time. That was from the Commodores. So I really loved that record. So I sampled that and I just put a beat on it one day. And I was like, I think that'll be good. This will be good on somebody. I don't know. So we had a California trip. We was doing our rounds with the labels, and I played that record. And they was like, wait a minute, what is that? Played it, and they was like, wait a minute, that'll be for our new artist, man, Tamia. So I was like, okay. So we write this. I go to the hotel. Me and Bob wrote it real quick, and then we went back to the studio, and then we just did the record. And then I didn't think nothing of it. We had Brandy demo it, and then Mario demoed it again. And for some reason, they didn't want to keep Brandy's vocals on there. They kept Mario and Wani's vocals on there. And then so we mixed it with Mario, and then it came out, but we didn't think it was gonna do anything because it was like the third single or something like that. You know what I mean? So we was like, yeah, and we just went to the next artist. Here we go again. We got that magical
Wow.
call. They hit us up and they was
Yes.
like, yo, y'all got the single. And we was like, okay, in our mind, we was like, it's not gonna do anything because the album been out for a while. Man,
You
lo and
got
behold, man,
wrong.
it goes in the top 10, then it goes 5, then it goes, number 2, and then I think number 1 on like about like at least 6 or 7 charts, man. We was like really like humbled by God, man, because that I think that the record was out like maybe a month, you know what I mean? So
Mm.
we really didn't think that was gonna do anything. Come to find out, that's one of the records, man, that I get paid the most on from my publishing, man, is So Into You. It's crazy. I'm like,
It's such a
how is
feel-good
this, man?
record though. Like, and again, another classic. And I know that Fabulous had it for his track as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, we
So
have
yeah,
like two
that
versions.
he put it out, and then I played on that. He asked me to play on it, man, and then that was a record that took off. That was number 1 in hip hop. So we was like, a whole bunch of hip hop artists kept coming to us because of that. I was like, I mean, we really do R&B, but I mean, if you strip my stuff down, I mean, my beats is pretty hard. I mean, they could be hard enough for some rap. So I guess we'll do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we had to strip it down because we made sure our stuff was all R&B, man.
Yeah, for sure. So you're saying that Brandy demoed it. So how did that even happen? Was you working with Brandy at the time?
Yeah. We working on Brandy, and then Wanye, he was dating Brandy at the time.
Yeah, I
So when we
remember.
came to LA, Boys the Man was doing a show. So we told Wanye, and Wanye was like, "You should have Brandy do the demos for y'all." We was like, "Hey man, can you tell her?" So she met us at the studio, and we was already really cool with her already. You know what I mean? So she just jumped on the demos real quick. So they didn't keep her voice on there though, man. I guess there was a little.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess because of the competition thing. I don't know what that was about, but she didn't
Yes.
end up on the backgrounds, even
Right,
though her
but
backgrounds was ridiculous, man.
that's what I was gonna say. I'm like, she's the queen of backgrounds though.
Oh my lord!
She is the
I can send you the
queen.
demos. I can send you the demos, man. You'll be
Please
playing it on your
send
station,
me.
guaranteed.
Please send me whatever you have of Brandy.
Oh
She
yeah,
is
man.
like the
Brandy's
vocal Bible. Oh my.
yeah. Brandy is the queen,
She
man.
really is.
She's unbelievable, man. Golly,
So being in the studio
unreal.
with Brandy, like how was that?
Oh my goodness, man! It's like everything you can think of, she'll do it times 20. That's what's so good about her. It's like anything you could think of, man. You should have thought a little more because she makes it sound like you'll be saying to yourself, like, how come I didn't think of that? You know what I mean? That's what she always end up doing. She does something real acrobatic with everything you think of. She's bad. She really is, man.
For sure. So, you know, like the artists that you were working with, were you vocal producing them then? You and Bob?
Oh, say it again now?
You know the artists that you were working with, when they were cutting the songs, were you vocal producing them?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you had to vote, you had to write it, produce it, and vocal produce it. You know what I mean? So it's like you had to have a gang of hats on when you was in the 90s, man.
And
You
your
had to think about
ear,
everything.
your
And
ear.
you kind of had to kind of mix it too. You know what I mean? That's how I turned. So I was already mixing our records. And then when we met Teddy, he was like, hey man, y'all need to keep mixing your records, man. You're going to have a sound if you do that. So I thought about that for a minute and I was like, you know what? I went to engineering school, man. I might as well just mix all my stuff. So that's how I started mixing everything I was doing. And that's why our sound sounded like it did, is because, you know, I made sure I mixed it. You know what I mean? Everything we did. So we just had a certain
Yes.
sound, you know what I mean?
Because
It ain't
if
like
you
I
can
was
do it
like, nah,
yourself.
yeah, I wasn't like scoot over. I want to do everything. It wasn't that. I just knew like, you know, if I made a track, I know how I want it to sound. Instead of
Exactly.
telling somebody like, hey, make it sound like this and that and that and this and all that. You know what I mean?
And having to go back and forth, it's just, yeah, you know how you want it to be. So makes
Exactly.
sense. If you can do it, do it all.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So we just turned, you know, I mean, like self-contained that way.
For sure. So as a producer and songwriter, I know you've worked on tracks that have never seen an official release because of label issues or other factors preventing it from coming out. How do you deal with that?
Very delicately. Very delicate, man, because you know, you put your all into a song, you know what I mean? You put your heart and soul into a song, you know, you step into it, you bathe in it basically, man. And then they tell you, yeah, you know what, we like that, but that ain't what we was listening for. And we like, are you serious, man? That took me 2 days. I was thinking of like the lyrics and how I wanted to sound, and you just easily just like, you know, push it to the side, like, man. You know, you just like I said earlier, you know, you really gotta have like built up layers of skin, man, for that. You know what I mean? Because that's gonna happen. I'm telling you. If you're that type of producer that when you work on an artist, if you do 5, you want to make sure you do 10. It's gonna be at least like half or like maybe 3 of them that they're not gonna either that not gonna like it, or that wasn't the sound that they think that it wasn't for the certain artist or something like that. Which they're not producers. How do they know? You know what I mean? That's how we be looking at it. We're like, okay,
Yeah.
based on their voice and what they say they want to sound like, which we picked their head already. Like we already know what they want. We gave them what we think that they want. But you don't think it's good, and you're not even a producer. We was like, okay, it was
It's
weird.
true. It's very true.
I
I
mean, we had to be like A&Rs, mixers, writers, producers. I mean, ask anybody, they'll tell you how the 90s were. We had to
yeah.
have like so many hats on. It was crazy.
Yeah. I bet you have like so much
I
on your
do.
computer. So
I,
much greatness.
I sure do, man. I got so many artists. I got so many records, man. I'll
You
send
must
much as
want
I
to put them
can.
out. Yeah, please do. You must want to like put them out though. I've seen like
I do.
some of them are on YouTube. Some
Yeah,
of them
there's a
are.
lot on YouTube. I noticed that.
Yeah.
But you know
Yes.
what? I did about like maybe 10 on Michael Jackson that's not even out.
Wow.
I've been saving them. So I
What
want to
you
put them
say?
out, man, on a
Mm.
compilation because I got a label right now. I was really thinking about doing a album from me with
Mhm.
all the artists that I worked on.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, like Michael Jackson, Cisco, R. Kelly, TLC, 112, Monica, Boys and Men, on and on and on. Case.
Yes.
Yeah,
You need
so
to
I was
do
thinking about
that.
doing that. Yeah, it's going to be a compilation.
Are you thinking to release it sometime this year or you're not sure yet?
Oh, yeah, this time like this year. Yeah. Like maybe
Yeah.
towards the end of the year. Yeah.
We need
Give them a little
that.
Christmas present. Yeah.
Yeah, because you know what? There's so much great unreleased tracks that need to be heard by the world. Like when I go on YouTube, like discovering songs that never come out, it's like my favorite thing. And a lot of the time, like sometimes they are better than what actually came out. It's like, why were they not
Yeah.
released?
Yeah.
It's
You
these
know what it was?
labels at the
It's because
time
of
as
the
well.
it's because of the powers that be, man. You know what I mean? It'll be
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
somebody that don't really know about music that's
Exactly.
working at the labels that say, we'll try this other one, not this one right here. And you're like, man, this one is better than that, better than a single. Like, why
Yeah,
you don't want this one? You know what I mean?
that
It's
must be
weird.
that must be difficult. I can't lie.
It really is.
When
It
it's your
really is.
art, when it's your art that you're presenting to them, and they're like, "No, that's not it." It's like, "What? Do you hear this?"
Yeah. It's like that to this day, man. You just gotta build up a character and the skin for it because
Yeah.
everybody, you know what? You just gotta look at it like this, when you like gotta realize, you know what I think is good, like somebody else think is junk. Like there's people that's not gonna like everything that you do.
Yeah.
But that don't mean that it ain't good. They just for the moment they don't like it. You know what I mean? For
Yeah.
for for so many different reasons, man. But you don't really got to think about that so much as like, you know what? I mean, this record is for somebody. It's just probably not for them at this time. You know what I mean? You gotta think
Exactly.
of it a different way, because you'll start like questioning yourself. You know what I mean? It's like,
Mhm.
nah, I can't think that, because I know I studied the greats, so I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. It's just that,
Exactly.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
You
They
you
ain't
can't
feeling
let
it
them
at
get
this
in your
moment in
head.
time.
Yeah, for sure.
So you just
But you
put it
know
on other
what?
artists. That's what I do.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a good idea though. Like if you've
Yeah,
got greatness, why let it go to waste? Like do
yeah.
like what you're gonna do, put it out under your name, or
Oh, absolutely.
or give it to another artist. Like that happens all the time, right? In like
Yeah,
with
it
producers,
does.
you know?
And you don't want to give another record that you really thought of with a certain artist. You don't want to really do that.
Mm,
So sometimes you don't do it, but if you're not really having an attachment to it, or the artist that you was working on don't,
mm,
then you just go ahead and just give it to another artist. You know what I mean? But
mm-hmm.
if you got an attachment to it and you think that this certain artist can do it on the next album or album after that,
Okay,
then you
yeah.
kind of keep it. You know what I mean?
You
It all
hold it to
depends.
them. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that makes sense. So
it
do you
all
know
depends.
what? Let's talk about your work with my king of R&B, Joe. His album, My Name is Joe, You Done So Beautiful. It's such an incredible song. Like every time I hear that song, I get goosebumps. The bridge, it's crazy. Tell me about creating that track
Yeah.
with Joe.
Same thing, man. Our manager called and was like, "Joe, want to work with you guys, based off y'all Boys the Men stuff y'all did." And I was like, "Wow, man, he was listening to Boys the Men, okay." So I came up with the song at the house. I was just messing around with the chords. So I was like, let me see if it like this, you know what I mean? So what's
Mhm.
crazy what happened, man, is we did um I'm Missing You. Missing You? He did
Yeah,
Missing You first.
I know. It came out like a year
And
before, right?
yeah, no.
Yeah.
That was for that album.
Oh,
That
for
was
My
for the
Name is Joe.
My Name is Joe. Yeah. So what
Okay.
happened was his manager said it's too pop, if you can believe that. And we
Wow,
were
that's
like, huh?
crazy.
So Joe was like, man, I really love that song, man.
Pop.
Golly. We was like, oh well. And they paid us for it and everything, right? Skip up, man. Case's A&R heard it. It was like, that's his first single, man. We had Case come in and do it. And
Mhm.
Case put it out, but he couldn't put it out overseas because Joe's manager heard it again. And he was like, no, I really want that song, man. So
Oh
Joe could put it
no.
out overseas and Case can put it out over here.
Oh my gosh.
And they both went number
Wow.
one. They both
Wow.
went number one, man. It was crazy.
Because
Really.
Joe's vocals are still on Case's version, right? On the backing vocals.
No,
Oh, are they?
we had this other guy do the backgrounds. His name is Gormiko. Yeah, he's singing the
Okay.
backgrounds on there.
But Joe wrote some of it, right?
Yeah, Joe
Okay.
wrote a verse. I think he wrote a verse on there, and then we wrote the rest. Me and Bob
Yeah,
did.
but you know what? It worked out because I feel like for Case, that was such a big song. So I think
Yeah.
it went to the, yeah, it kind of worked out. But it's just interesting to see how Joe's manager, he said it was too pop. And then Cases, they were like, this is amazing. It's got to be the first single. It goes to show how like people can hear things in different ways.
Yeah, it's really weird, huh? It's weird how you
Yeah.
like, okay, I was thinking about this artist, but okay, if he not that attached to it, then it's wide open when you play for somebody else. And if they
Yeah.
really, really love it and they think they can do something with it, then you got to give it to them,
Do you
So
know
that's what
what?
happened, man. But we
Now
did, you know what? I did so many records on Joe, man. I gotta send you. I got at least about 20 records on Joe. I'm serious. I
wow.
got 20 that didn't make it for different albums, man. My Name is Joe. There's No One Like Me.
Yeah.
And maybe like 3 other albums, man, I did.
Oh my.
We did a
Joe
lot
is
of
my
records that didn't
favorite.
make it. So I got them. I got them in the stash.
I know a couple of them. I know When the Lights Go Off and Should I Stay.
Yeah,
I know them
yeah,
too, but
yeah.
but yeah,
Got a
because you
lot
know
more
what?
where that came from, though. Trust me.
You got the one Get to Know Me with Nas, and That's What I Like as well.
Yeah, yeah, I
Those
sure
songs are
do.
crazy. Do you know what? I would love to see you work with Joe now. Like, we're always just like, where is Joe? Whenever he comes to London, I always go and see him live because I feel like Joe is someone that never lets you down. Like vocally, he's always going to give an incredible performance. And I just need a new album. I need you to work with him.
He's amazing. You know what I think? You know what I think it is, man. Based on me working on him the last time, I think that he realized that his type of R&B just ain't selling right now. So it's like that's why he like why waste my time and do an album? I might as well just go ahead and tour. So the people that
Mm.
really love what what I've done, they'll come to my shows, and I don't have to waste all my time on doing an album. You know what I mean? There's a lot of artists that's like that. They're like, we rather just tour because we know our really hardcore audience will be there at the shows, and it's really weird though. They don't buy the records. It's really it's kind of weird. You know what I mean? But that's
That's
what's
really
going
sad to
on over
hear.
here. I'm
Hmm.
sure. I don't think it's like that where you're at, where you're from, in
Do
the
you know
UK.
what? I feel like we really love R&B over here, and
Yeah, you do.
I feel like we don't follow trends as much. Like I feel like
Yeah,
in America that trap R&B sound was quite popular, and I feel like we're kind of over that stuff. Like we make a bit more soulful stuff. We have people like Cleo Soul, like the girl group Flow as well. They're really cool.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I love them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Like the UK, I just feel like we kind of like have our own lane, and we kind of are a bit more leaders. We don't really follow what's popping in a way, you know.
yeah.
And I
And
feel
you
like
know
that's
what,
so
man? I wish
important.
it was like that over here because over here it's like here today, gone today. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah,
that's why I know that it's going to come back to the '90s because it's like there's nowhere else to go. You know what I mean? But back to the roots. It's
for
like back to
sure.
where where it started, man. It was like back then, man, it was like, man, R&B was selling like 10 and 15 million and all that crazy stuff. It's like,
Yeah, it
it's,
was mainstream. It was
yeah,
really, really was.
yeah.
But you know
So I
what?
think, I think it's going to have to come back full circle, man.
For
Like if they want to make
sure.
it like really like the mainstream, they got to come back to that.
But you
Got
know
to
what?
come back to the '90s.
I feel like there is producers like Demo and Campa that are really representing for R&B though. Like now.
Yeah, I
They're
think
like
so.
the
Yeah.
two that are like
He's, you talking about D-Mile, the producer?
yeah.
He's good, man. I think he
Really?
lives in Atlanta. He's,
No, he lives in LA. He lives in LA.
oh, really? He does? I
Yeah.
didn't even know that. I thought he lived in Atlanta. He's
No,
good.
no, no. Yeah, he's
He's
very
good. He
good.
listened to a lot of us, man, from the '90s, and he just doing
Yeah.
what we did in the '90s, man. But he makes live music, man. He does a really good
Exactly.
job.
Yeah, his music is super musical, That's what we want.
Yeah, he's good. You know what? I think why you guys are really hardcore R&B fans is because maybe y'all are like your time, man, ahead of us, man. You know what I mean? Y'all like,
Mhm.
okay, y'all went through all that. Let me go back to the basics.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope they do that. I hope they do the same thing here, man, because man, it's like out of it's out of focus right now. It's like like the playing field is uneven. It really is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all I ask for is just to make it back even again. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with like there's nothing wrong with trap R&B. That's just another element of music. But what happened to the real R&B? Let's still make that too, man, and make the playing field
Exactly.
even. That's all I ask for.
Exactly. Like you said, balance. You know, there's people that
Yeah,
enjoy
make a
that, and that's
balance. Yeah,
fine.
make R&B, make trap music, make rap. You know what I mean? It's all kinds
Exactly.
of, different lanes for music,
100%.
You know what I
So do you
mean?
know what? Let's talk about one of my top R&B debut albums of all time. This is Bobby V's Bobby Valentino.
Yeah.
Yeah, and next month we'll be celebrating its 20-year anniversary. I know you and Bob produced the majority of that album. How did you and Bobby start working together?
Well, okay, so we knew Bobby when he was in the group Mister because we helped
Yeah.
put the group together, but we didn't produce it. So they was with Elektra. So I think it was like the second or third album when it was time to for them to do an album. They was looking like a basketball team. It was crazy. Like one of the guys was 6'3", and then Bobby was 5'3", you know what I mean? And then another dude was like 6'2". It was crazy,
Okay.
but we did the album anyway, right? And we turned it into Electra. And then Sylvia Rome, she just dropped him out of nowhere. She was like, I mean, the look is not there, you know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
was on the first album. So she let it all go. And then we moved to LA. And then I was producing in my room, like one of my rooms in my house. And then I got a knock on the door, right? I peeped through the thing, and I saw Bobby. I'm like, I thought he lived in Atlanta, man. It was crazy. I opened the door up and I was like, Bobby, what up? And he was like, hey, man, yo, I flew out here from Atlanta, man. I was like, I gotta find you, man. He was like, man, I'm better now. And he said, I sound like a grown man, man. He was like, can you give me some time so you can hear what I did? And I was like, okay. So I listened to his records, and he had the record Lights Down Low, right? So I was
Oh,
like,
I love that song. That's a
I was
great
like, hey, I
song.
liked it. I was like, let me make an album around that. He was like, you will? I was
Mhm.
like, go ahead and go home, get some clothes, and then come back. I'll let you stay at my house. How about he stayed at my house for a year and a half? And
Wow.
and I did the whole album. And what happened, one more. So I had the album done, right? I had want you to know me, give me a chance with Luda. That was gonna be the first single, and it was between that and Touch Me. So it's between them
Okay.
two, right? So that was gonna be the first
Right.
single. And I went to the movies before I went into the studio that day. I went to go see Hero, right? And so I'm sitting there, right? And then this song comes on. I'm like, wow. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I always had that Japanese sound, but not that deep like that. I was like, I can make something off of that right there. So what I did is back when Tower Records was open, I ran to go get the CD and I sampled it. And then
Mm.
I start singing a song slow down. I start singing slow down to it. But I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think he'll like it. So I went to the studio and I was like, you know what? So he went to sleep, and him and everybody, engineer, everything. They went to sleep in a different room, and I was in there by myself, listening to Slow Down. So I was like, you know what? Let me wake Bobby up and have him do the demo. I called him up. I called him out the room, and I let him listen to what I had for the hook for the track. And he goes, "You just came up with that?" And I was like, "Nah, I came up with it earlier." I said when I went and grabbed the CD. I was like, "You didn't hear me in the other room?" He was like, "No, I didn't hear you, man. I was asleep." I was like, "Yeah, this is what I was humming." He was like, "Man, this is crazy." So then Bob woke up and came in the room, right? And he was like, "What the heck is that?" And I was like, "I don't know. It's just something I had. I didn't think y'all would like it, man. You know what I mean?" So I played it, and then Bob was like, "Hold on, man." So he started like coming up with a melody, right? And then I start putting some words to his melody, and then he started putting some words to it, and then he came up with a verse. He came up with the verse, and then I changed the end part, like "Slow down, I just want to get you." He had
Mm.
but turn around because that pretty something about that pretty wrong thing or something. I was like,
Yeah, pretty
no,
round
we need
thing
to
looks
say
good to
don't
me.
turn around. You know what I mean? He was like, you think that'll work? I was like, dog, I think so, man, because that's a nice way of saying I'm looking at the back, but that's a nice way of saying don't now turn around. You know what I mean? I was like,
Mm.
don't now, but don't turn around because that pretty round thing. Because I'm watching you walk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was like, yeah, let's try that. So I did it, and then after we was done, I had the demo and I went down to the radio station, played the record, man, and the lines just blew up. That's all I knew. I was like, Luda. I was like, this got to be the first single right here. Because we did the deal with Luda, me and Bob did.
Yeah,
And then Luda heard the record and was like, man, you know what? He said, go ahead, man. He said, go ahead, man. He was like, show everybody. I was like, okay. So it was #1 in LA before anybody heard it.
wow.
It was #1 maybe 2 months before it came out.
Wow.
So then LA heard it, LA and Jay-Z heard it, and they was like, yo, man, we're gonna make that the biggest single of this year. They put it out, and then it was #1 for about like 3 or 4 months, man.
Yeah, that song, even over here in the UK, that song was huge.
Wow.
I remember that music video. Like, we had something called MTV Base, and it used to be on repeat all the time. Like, that is such a, like when summer's coming, that's a song that you need to, like, that you think of. It's such a summer anthem. Like, you think of the sun shining, like palm trees. Yeah, that song is so special. And me as a DJ, like, slow down and tell me every time I DJ, like every set I do, them two songs are played, and they still get such an incredible reception. Like, when you created them songs, then, like, did you have any idea that, like, 20 years later,
No way, no way, because it was so different. You know what I mean? Like what was out, I was like, you know what? I mean, I was like thinking like, okay, slow down. It kind of sounds different. So like, if anybody want to hear something different, this will be it right here. You know what I mean? But I didn't know it was going to do that. You know what I mean? It did what it did. And it was so big that there was like, Ludo's like, hey, yo, man, we got to find a follow-up, man, because we don't have anything that sounds like this. And I was like, yeah, y'all right. I was like, give me a minute. Let me think about it. So I went to the, again, I did the same thing. I go to the movies, and I went to see House of Flying Daggers, I think. And I heard a certain song in there, and that's what made me go back and cut up the CD. And then I did like about like 10 tracks. And then I was thinking about like, when I found a sample, I was just thinking about like, if it was like a marching band, like what would the beat sound like in an Asian style? So that I was thinking about an Asian marching band, if you could believe that. And that's what made me come up with Tell Me. And I was like,
wow.
I don't know, man. I was like, let me come up with a hook and some melodies. Let me see what it do. I don't think it's gonna do anything. I was like, I'll just put it to the side. And then Bobby, he did it, and we was like, I was like, eh. And all of a sudden, all these rappers, man, was like, man, this is so crazy. I'm like, it is? Yeah. So then I told LA, I was like, I flew to New York. I was like, I think I got the next single to follow up. He played it and he was like, man, I like this, man. I'm gonna put it out. He put it out and I was like, it might do something. I don't know. Man, I'm telling you, so many rappers came to me, man, to this day. I mean, Nas, let me see, Fabulous, anybody you can think of who came to me and was like, I want a song just like that. And I was like, wow, man, I can't believe this, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I remember that Lil Wayne was on the remix of that track, right?
He was,
like
yeah.
Yeah,
he did a good job on there too.
He definitely
You know what?
did.
You know what's crazy, man? Lil Wayne was one of the first rappers to rap on a real R&B record. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm,
like he said that too. He was like, there's not a rapper that's really rapping on a real R&B song, man. I was like, you know what? When I think about it, you're right, man.
Yeah.
And he was like, known as the first rapper to really like make a R&B record, like, be on an R&B record, like a real hardcore rapper. When you think of like a rapper that was real hardcore, you know what I mean? Like rapping about like all kinds of different stuff that, rappers ain't got no business rapping about. Like, he turned around and like kind of had to make it sound sweet. You know what I mean? So he did a really good job though.
No, he definitely did. And you know what? Like, I even see, like, Tell Me trending now. Like, people will talk about that beat. People are like, best instrumental of all time. Like, everyone loves it. It's incredible.
I was really, man, like honored, man, because it's like when they said like that beat is as hard as some of the rap music that's out, I was like, wow, I really appreciate that, man, because I didn't think that, when you strip it all down, it do sound like rap music. Like when I like when I was mixing it, like when I was cutting some of the strings and some of the harps, which some of the harps I sampled myself again. Like I played the harp and I sampled myself. So that's why that's why nobody can get that sample, because that was me. And the flutes was really me, because my sister played the flute and she taught me how to play. So, that's me on the flutes, that's me on the harp. You know what I mean? And then the strings, I sampled the strings from another record. But everything is really kind of sampled. That's why it kind of sound more like a hip hop record. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
Because it's a lot of stuff sampled, and then I just kind of made it sound like not so bright. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But there we are.
No, them two songs, like I said, as a DJ, every set, like back to back, they are classics. But you know what? Talking of the album, though, I do just want to mention My Angel Never Leave You. Like, that song,
For who now?
no,
Which record?
My Angel Never Leave You.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
my God. You know what, man? That was my mom's favorite. My mom passed away, man. Rest in peace. But that was her favorite song, man. When the album came out, she was like,
yeah.
Because I sent her the record, right? But I didn't think she listened to it, because all she was listening to, my sister told me, she was like, dang, Mom, just listening to Tell Me and so, the other record, Tell Me. She don't really listen to nothing that you sent. I was like, wow, okay. I was like, when she really listened to Never Leave You, she gonna really, really like, you know what I mean? And then, when the album came out, she was crying every single day, like crying tears, elephant tears. She would call me and be like, Tim, what was you thinking about when you came up with that? I was like, really? You think that?
Listen, let me tell you, I'm someone that cries with music a lot as well. And that song definitely makes me tear up. Like, it feels like it's a wedding song, right? It's so beautiful. And the bridge as well. Again, that's one of your best bridges as well, I think. Like, the bridge is crazy.
I think when I was doing that record, because you know what? Because Bob at the time, Bob's mom was kind of sick, so he came back to Chicago and was there for about maybe I don't know, like a year. So that's why a bulk of that record I did it on my own, and that was one of the first records that I did, is Never Leave You. And I was thinking about, when I was doing that record, I wasn't really thinking about nothing like in particular, but I was like, you know what? I want to say something about an angel, man. But I was like, but how can I make it, kind of related to somebody that's like, that go to work 9 to 5, that don't be thinking about that. Like, how can I make it like, really, really like believable? I was like, okay, I got to say something about like, you're my angel. You know what I mean? So I was like, never leave you. God put us together. Like, it's an angel, so angels live in heaven, right? So I was like, God put us together because he made you, an angel. God put us together forever, my angel. So that's what made me, so that's when I came up with that line first. So I wrote that line first, and then I kind of, in the verses, I was like, you know what, let me make it like go back to like, when I was in school, like had a crush on a young lady. How would I write it from that perspective? So that's what I was thinking of. And, again, you just do a record and don't even be thinking about it. Then when somebody like, either you or my mom or whoever says it's one of their favorite songs, it really like make me like, wow, man, some of the records that I'm not even thinking about, man, I'm like, that'll be somebody's favorite song. And I wasn't even really thinking about nothing in particular. I was just like thinking of a subject, and then I just, came up with something, and there it was. And I just like put it to the side and went to another record, and then that was one of the ones that they really like. I'm like, wow.
For sure.
It's crazy,
that song means so much to me. like I said, I've definitely cried listening to that song.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
That song is so special. So yeah, thank you for that song. Like, thank you.
You know what, man? When you was playing Used to Be My Girl, man. Oh man, I really remember that too, because I was stuck in the Asian sound. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm gonna, give everybody a different interpolation, but still have that Asian feel to it. You know what I mean? Yes. So I was stuck on that for about like at least 7 to 8 years, man. I couldn't make nothing else sound. Everything that I was doing was sounding like that, because you know, I could play like about 30 different instruments, you know what I mean? So I was like, let me just keep sampling myself, playing the harp, playing the flutes, playing different instruments and just sampling myself. So I just kept doing that and I kept sampling and triggering it with the beat. And then, you know, that was my sound, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
When you hear it, everybody was like telling me like, man, I thought that was Timberland. I was like, no, that's me. And then I made sure that it was a certain BPM because the BPMs really made the sound really come out. Like it was around like between 93 and 95. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
No, listen, we appreciate it as DJs.
Thanks, man. I made it was
Yeah.
right there in that you know area where rappers rap at. They rhyme from like 90 BPMs to like 95. So I put it right in
Yeah.
between there. That's why I think rappers really like Used to Be My Girl and Tell Me, Slow Down, all them because all them was in between 90 and 95 BPMs.
Exactly. But it was so unique, and like when you heard it, it was instantly recognizable. You knew that this was Tim and Bob. You know, this was your sound.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's just me. It really was just me. Just like I'm not even gonna lie, man. It was just me, just messing around with samples and then putting myself on it, and then I would bring it. And Bob would maybe like, you know, all he had to do is we just needed like one more track, and then Bob just played his guitars on there. You know what I mean? But I could have did it, but I just left it open just to see if what Bob could come up with on there. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Bob would put a reverse guitar on there, and then I would make it sound like real dirty in the mix, and then it would fit in the mix, and then there it was. That was the record right there. So I didn't really put that many keyboards on it. You know what I mean? Because I already sampled myself doing a lot, you know, in the track. So it's really not that many keyboards in the record. You know what I mean?
Wow. No, it's
That was
definitely
basically me. You know?
it was one of my favorite like sounds in the 2000s. And do you know what? It's something that I really miss like now being a DJ, being an R&B DJ in terms of like up tempos. We don't have much of it. A lot of it is slow. And I love
Yeah.
slow jams. Like I love slow jams, but like we were talking about earlier having balance, like we don't have that really anymore. Like there's not much 90 plus BPM like R&B tracks we can play in the club, like new stuff. There's not much.
You know why? It's because they cut up tempos in half, so they make them in
With
half beat.
halftime.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't want
So
that though. I want
so you know something that was going like boom, cat, boom,
exactly.
cat. You know, instead of doing that, they go boom, cat, boom, boom. So
Exactly.
it's cut in
Yeah.
half, man. It's like you know what I mean. Like that's why
It's
like
not the
something that will be
same
going maybe
though.
like 97 or 100 is like maybe going like you know
40
half that
something.
time.
Exactly. Yeah,
That's what it
but
is.
I know, but I want the true up tempo. Like we need it.
You know what? I got a lot. I got a lot of them, and I'm just waiting till like you know whatever's going on right now. I think all the producers are, man. We just wait until it kind of like dies out, man, so we can go ahead and bring it back, man. Like the boom bap and the up tempos and all that. It's like right now, it's not that kind of weather that's going on right now. The weather ain't right for that. It's like we gotta
Really?
wait, so to speak, till like this blows over so we can, you know, bring those records back, man. I can't wait till like we can
Yeah.
do that, man. You know what I mean? Because you
Yes.
know, it wasn't like a lot of standing around in the clubs and like, you know, everybody
Exactly.
was like, even the real cool dudes, man, was grabbing a girl and like you know, like dancing, man. You know what I mean? It's like
Exactly. Yeah.
they ain't really having that much fun like that now, you know?
It's
Because
just
everything
all
is like
like
you said, everything like the fast tempo is slow now. That's like slow
literally.
songs.
Exactly.
It's
Like you said, it's
crazy.
half time. Like,
Yeah.
but we need that back. Like when I do play up tempo R&B, majority of it is classics. You know, that's what I'm
Yeah.
looking for. And yeah, I would love for you to be releasing like some new music apart from your compilation, like with newer artists this year. I really do hope that it happens.
You know what, man? We gotta it just take you know what, it's gonna take a army of us, man. Like, you know, like my really good friend is a Rich. Rich is really good at up tempos, man. Rich
Mm.
Harrison.
Oh
He's a
my
good friend of
gosh.
mine. He
I
lived right down
love Rich
he lived right
Harrison.
down the street, matter of fact. He lived down the
Wow.
street. Let me see who else live around here. Uh Dang, Raphael, he's a good friend of mine. He lives down the street. Let me see who else. There's a lot of producers around me, man.
Tim, I need to ask you.
SWV,
I need to
their
ask you,
producer
Tim.
is not that far from me.
Oh,
So
Brian
all of us,
Alexander Morgan.
yeah. So all of us is like a
Yeah.
fraternity, you know what I mean? So all of us be talking and we're like, you know what, man? We would love to work on some of these new R&B artists. We just got to buy into like they can't be rapping on our tracks. It's like they got to sing.
For sure.
Singers sing, man. You can't be
Definitely.
singers don't rap. Singers sing. You know what I mean? It's like so we can have all the singers come back. You know what I mean? It's like all the singers don't even want to do an album anymore because they already know, man, it's going to be a waste, man. You know what I mean? It's like,
no.
Yeah, they're not going to be like being able to get any airtime, man. So they like, I might as well do something else, like get into another stream of income. It's weird.
Rich Harrison really was like his
Rich is bad.
production with A. Marie and yeah.
You know what? I met him when I was working on J-Lo. Have you heard the song I did on J-Lo called I Love?
I think so. I know obviously his song Get Right.
That he did Get Right, and then I did I Love. That was a single on her too. I Love. That was like the third single.
Okay.
But that's how I met him, man. We was working together on J-Lo. And he just walked in the room. He was like, "Hey, man, I love y'all, man." I was like, "Love us?" I'm like, "I love you, man." He was like, "Hey, man, you know what? Let me show you something." And he showed us Get Right. Anne Marie was singing on it. He was like, "Hey, man, can you believe, man, the label turned us down?" And I was like, "You got to show J-Lo this, man." He showed J-Lo, man. She was like, "What the heck is that?" And she was like, "Is that for Anne Marie?" He was like, "No, that's for you." He's like, "Man, they don't like this, man." So she ended up recording it. But it was for Anne Marie though.
Wow. Did you hear the version with Usher as well? He's got a version of that song.
Yeah, I heard his version. I heard I know Rich used to demo all his records at first too, so the artist, whoever's going to be on the track, will get it. So I heard his version. I heard a gang of his songs, man, with his version, man. It was funny, man.
Yeah,
it was funny because he could barely sing, but you could hear the melodies. You're like, oh man, it's got your voice on it. It's kind of weird, but I could tell like it's crazy, man.
You
know
can
what I
hear
mean?
the potential.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. He would show us all kinds of stuff. He'd be like, "Hey, Tim and Bob, man, check this out, man." You know what I mean? He would play a record, and we'd be like, "Okay, you know what? We have to stop laughing, man, because it's you singing. We know it's you, but we can hear where this going, man. Like, wow."
Exactly.
Yeah,
we need you and Rich this year. That would be crazy.
It's coming. Don't worry, it's coming, man. Like, I think it's coming by the summertime to Christmas time. I really believe so. It's gonna be a gang of producers that's gonna come back.
I know that Rich was working with an artist called Aaliyah, but I'm not sure what's going on with that now. I don't think that's going ahead anymore. But he did like release a song maybe like over a year ago.
He said,
and it sounded like Rich Harrison. Like it sounded like Rich. And that made
you know what? He sent me about a good 50 records, man. I got 50 records that if he don't mind me that I send them to you, I'll send them, man. I think he won't mind because you're over the waters, man. He won't mind. I'm gonna ask him, man, when I talk to him. I know I'll talk to him today because I usually talk to him like 4 or 5 times a week. So I'll ask him.
Yeah, please do. And just tell him like what a genius he is and that we are waiting on him. We are.
Yeah, I'll make sure I tell him that because he needs to hear that. You know what I mean?
No,
like
we need him.
Yeah, because I always tell him all the time. I know he getting tired of me just telling him. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, you got to get on Instagram and you got to. He was like, you know what, man? He was like, man, when my next single come out, I'm gonna get Instagram too. He was like, because I got to come back on Instagram and all that, man. He was like, I'm gonna do my. It's gonna be like almost like it's a debut. He was like, but I was doing Instagram when it first came out. He was like, but I stopped because I didn't have nothing to show everybody. You know what I mean? It was like, I don't want to just be on there just looking at people's stuff. I want to let everybody know I got a single coming out, something like that. So I think he got a single coming out this summer.
Okay.
So he's going to come back.
Because it's so true. Like he's literally nowhere on social media. If you put Rich Harrison,
he's gone. No, he's not even on there.
Exactly. So do you know what, Tim? Let's talk about some tracks that you done with Tank in the late 2000s that ended up leaking. And they were incredible. Exactly the type of music that we needed at that time. It's such a shame.
Hold on. Who were they?
Tank.
Who were they again?
Tank.
Oh my goodness, Tank is a good
Yes.
friend of mine.
Like,
You
do you
know
know
what?
what?
You know what? I'm glad you just mentioned him. He lives down the street too.
Tank is one of my favorite vocalists of all time.
He's unreal, man. He is unreal.
Unreal.
It was unfortunate because here's what happened on that. Okay, so we worked on Tank and we did about like 10 records, right? Which only maybe like 4 got leaked. Because here's what happened. He was signed to Blackground.
Yeah.
We did the record, and then Jomo, he took us to dinner. He was like, "Hey man, you know what? Let me tell you guys something, man." He was like, "I think my dad is about to get out the business, man." We like, so what's gonna happen with the joints we did on Tank? He was like, "I don't know, man." I was like, "You got to be joking, man." He was like, "Yeah." So before they got out the industry, I think they gave somebody that, and that guy, he the one that leaked them to YouTube. And that's how they got on YouTube. It was like maybe 4 of them out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we
that
got
is
we got 7 more that people haven't heard though. We got
okay.
7. I got 7 of them. So I was talking. It's crazy. I was talking to Tank like maybe like 2 weeks ago. He was like, "Hey man, He said, man, I can't wait to release these records, man." He's like, "I'm going to release them though, because I got something
Please,
for
he
his new album."
needs to. He
Yeah.
needs to really because that time of Tank for me was like the golden time. Like Sex, Love and Pain is one of my favorite albums. So with the Underdogs, like that was crazy.
Yeah.
And then the work he done with you guys done like Do You Remember, right? And Lost in
Yeah.
You. Yet
Yeah.
them songs are special. Like they and it was like what was it around 2009 kind of times.
Yeah. It was. It was 2000. I think it was 2009. Yeah. You're right. God, you're
Yeah.
a walking encyclopedia. How do you know this stuff, man?
And listen, I have studied R&B. Like
I
I
see
really know
that, man.
it.
I
But
see
no,
that.
I would love for
I
them songs to come
clearly
out.
see, man. You know what? You got more sense about R&B than some artists and producers that I know. Seriously, you do. You
Yeah.
got more like understanding and know-how about the genre
Yeah.
than most artists, most producers. It's
Thank you. I
crazy.
love it. I love it. From like I said,
Wow,
from a
man.
young child, like I've been obsessed with R&B. So like doing what I'm doing now, like it just makes me so happy. Like being able to support it and talk to people like you as well, not just artists, like people that produce the songs, the writers, people that are so important, that need to be like shed a light on. And people need to know like these are the people that created the incredible music that you're hearing.
Yeah.
So like I love what I'm doing now. Like, and I'm so happy that we were able to like talk as well because yeah, it's been a long time coming.
Because you know what it is. It's like people need to hear from a person that was in the '90s and I really did well for myself, and I really want to let them know that a lot of producers that was from the '90s. It's just like jump rope. We're waiting to jump in, but we
Mhm.
know that our sound it won't resonate with people right now unless
Mhm.
because a lot of people say I want to bring the '90s back, but they don't really mean it. You know what I mean? It's like
Mhm.
some mean it, but some don't. You know what I mean? It's like
Exactly, yeah.
people just like riding off people saying they love like the '90s, but do you love it enough to bring the '90s back? Like
Do
really?
you know what though? Do you know what I will say? Did you listen to the Summer Walker song Heart of a Woman? That was a
Yeah.
very 90s sounding track. So
You know
I don't
what? Yeah,
know, like yeah.
she's good. She's really good.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
hopefully
Summer Walker's
that
good.
she's a huge artist. So like hopefully that will like inspire others to like have that more like 90s essence in their music because
Yeah.
that was like people were saying this sounds like a Brandy record. Like it was so
Yeah.
90s. Yeah, that was a great track. So
You know what? It's like I know her manager, but it's like we just need to get in those conversations where we like, okay, she sounds like where she got that from. She got that from us. Like she need to come and reach out and let us know that she got it from us, and she would love to work with producers like us. Because
exactly.
that would bring the '90s era back and the '80s and the '90s back. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But you know what?
Yeah.
Going back to Tank, so he is one of my favorite vocalists. So I want to know, like, how was it working with him? Because yeah, as a singer, Tank is just a different
Man,
level. Like,
let me tell you, man, working with it don't even feel like you're really working, man. Like to be a producer anyway, it don't even seem real, man. You know what I mean? Because we wake up and get to do what we love most. You know what I mean? It's just like what you were saying, like you being a DJ, you get to spin records and
Yeah,
and play R&B, love the music that you grew up on. You know what I mean? It's like, we get to actually produce it. You know what I mean? It's like that's like a dream come true. So it's like working with Tank was like, he make it so it's like you don't even think about its work. You know what I mean? It's like he make the time go by fast because he's a comedian, man. Like you'll be laughing the whole way through, man. He be acting like an ape in the in the booth, man. He's funny, man. But he's the
yeah.
same way. He's like he's like David Hollister, man. We got to put on our cowboy hats, man, and like really, really kind of like we gotta tame him, man, because he can do so much with his voice. He'll go off just a little bit off track sometimes. You just got to be like, you know what, man, like just kind of keep it in pocket, man. You know what I mean? So we can make sure, we got something for all of us, and then we got something for the radio too. You know what I mean? So you
Yeah,
just
no,
got to
for
think
sure.
like that when you're working with him. Him, Joe, Monica,
Yeah,
Brandy,
yeah.
uh, Dave Hollister, Beyonce, all of you got to do that with them, man. They
You
don't even
work
be
with the
thinking about that.
greats.
So it's your
Yeah.
job as a producer to put that hat on, and you got to really make them think about the radio. They're like, you got to be like, hey, I don't think that'll work for the radio. You just got to tell them that.
For sure.
I think we got to dummy it down a little bit, but not all the way, just to a point where it's like, they can kind of follow what we're trying to, convey. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. I get you. But do you know what I want to say is I want to see you on R&B Money podcast.
You know what? I told Tank that too. He was like, you know what,
Yeah.
man? I'm waiting till we get a gang of people on here, and then I'm gonna bring you on, man. I was like, okay, man. I was like, but when y'all ready to talk to, let me know, man. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I
you
can go
guys
ahead
would have a
and
great
share my
episode.
stories and what I went through as a producer, and what everybody can be looking for. You know what I mean? And let them know that we're waiting our turn. You know what I mean? But we're here.
Yeah. I know. Literally watch that like every week. I love it. I love what they're doing for R&B as well. Like
Yeah,
it's so
shed, shedding
important.
the light on it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And the
Yeah.
stories, it's so entertaining.
Yeah.
So I can't wait until you're going to be on that episode. It's going to be
Yeah, I
crazy.
can't wait. I can't wait either, man.
So do you know what? Seeing as I'm from the UK, I need to talk about the song that you done with Damage, Ghetto Romance.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ghetto Romance.
Yeah. And I noticed that Joe is a writer on that track, right?
He is. You know why he's a writer on there? We did it on the Joe app, the album that I did Missing You on.
Okay. So it was
Yeah.
meant to be on Joe.
Yep. So I did Missing You, Ghetto Romance, and You're Beautiful, and about like 6 or 7 other ones. So that was for
Wow.
him. You should hear Joel's vocals, man. Oh my God. Oh.
Have you got that one? Please
Yeah,
send
I
me.
got that too.
Wow. So
Joe is
what
murdering it,
happened?
man.
So what happened then? He just cut the demo and then when they made like the track list, the final track list, they were just like it just didn't make the cut or
Yeah, that's what happened.
okay.
They was like, we're not looking for that right now. And I was like, I mean, Joe helped us write it. What do you mean? What are you talking about? So he's like,
Yeah.
Joe know how he want to come out. He helped us write that.
Yeah, like when you write songs with artists as well, when they're included, do you find that they're more like connected to the song and they're more likely to take it?
Yeah, I think they're more connected to it because we
Yeah.
we we love to let the artists help write if they can write. You know what I mean? Like let
Yeah.
them write because they feel like they're a part of the record when when it comes out. So
Yeah.
so Joe actually helped us write on those, and that's why we surprised that they didn't make it, man, because he told them and it still didn't make it. We're like, okay, that is crazy. So I didn't
Yeah.
get too wrapped up in it. I just like worked on the other artists, and then I played it, and if they liked it, then it was theirs. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
so that's when we was working on when Damage came over to the States. We played the record and they loved it, so I cut it on them.
It was a big song over here.
Yeah,
That
it went
was
number one. Did it go number
yeah.
one over there?
I think so. Yeah, I remember that being like really big when I was younger.
Yeah,
And
either
it's
went number
still a
one
song
or
that
it
I
went
play.
plat. I know it went platinum, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I think it went number one too. I'm not sure. But
Yeah,
I know it went platinum for sure.
you
Yeah.
guys killed that beat. That beat is that
Yeah.
beat hits.
I mean, Joe's Dibble, man. I was like, okay, that's gonna go on him for sure. And they didn't like it. I was like, oh my good, here we go again, man. Golly,
Yeah.
man.
Must be like, guys, are you not hearing what I'm hearing? Like, what? What kind of ears do you have?
Man, it's so weird. It's think about it, man. I don't know. Like, imagine yourself like you having a baby and you got to give away one of your babies. You like,
Yeah,
man, that's what it feels like in
I
music.
can
It's like
imagine.
you're giving away one of your babies, man, from someone that you. It's like you birthed this thing with a certain artist, and now you got to give it to another artist. So it's like that's why like 80% of the time you don't give the songs away. But if they really, really, really got a liking to it, then you give it away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for
You
sure. I
kind of
can
let them adopt
imagine.
it. You know what I mean? But it's weird though. It's really
No, I
weird.
can imagine. So another king that you worked with is Donell Jones. So
Oh, that's my brother. I love him, man.
yeah, I'm gonna be and can't wait. And I also heard an unreleased track, Argue.
You know what?
Right?
I'm Gonna Be was his first single.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, I'm gonna be. It was an amazing song. That can't wait. But I
Yeah.
also remember hearing, I think it was like on YouTube, that you guys produced a song called Argue as well.
You know what?
Yeah.
That was one of the records. That was when I did Donnell, Bob went to Florida to do the Tell Me video with Bobby V and Lil Wayne. So I did all them records by myself.
Okay.
Yeah. That's when I really started doing records on my own. You know what I mean? That's when I really was like, you know what, I need to go ahead and kind of like just kind of I think that it's kind of like, me and Bob then did all we can do. I kind of got, some things I kind of want to like do on my own, you know what I mean? After that. When I did that, that's when it was the beginning of me being on my own.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from
Yeah.
Gonna Be.
So that's why me and Donnell Jones really got close, because we was in the studio for like 2 months, like by ourselves, just me and him. So I just did all them records by myself,
Donell
And I was
Jones.
thinking about Michael Jackson when I did I'm Gonna Be. That's why it sounds like Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
Them
that's why you
chords.
say that. Yes.
Yeah, because we
You
was
could really
listening
hear
to
that.
we was listening to Human Nature and records like that, and that's what made me come up with that. Them chord progressions.
Yeah, you could definitely hear Michael.
Yeah. It was Michael Jackson. Like it was really spawned from him.
Yeah, do you know what? Donell Jones, his discography is one of my favorites in R&B.
Oh,
Like,
he's unreal. He's unbelievable.
and he's a producer as well and a writer.
Yeah, he is.
Like,
Yeah.
he does everything. Like, he's super talented. Yeah, I've another one that I'd love to hear like new music from you guys at some point.
You know what? I was like, I even asked him. I was like, because I was having conversations with him every night. I was like, because he was asking me a gang of questions. He was like, "What do you be thinking about when you come up with an up tempo?" And I was like, "Well, I think about like sparse. You know what I mean? I like, you can't put a lot of instruments in it." He was like, "Man, I put a lot of instruments in my up tempo." I was like, "You should." I was like, "That'll make it like really, really." I was like, "You make the words kind of like carry the song." You know what I mean? He was like, "Wow, I didn't think about that." So I was like, when I was doing up tempos, I was like, "Dang, you want to help me produce on this one?" He was like, "Nah, man, I'm just watching you, man." It was funny, man. Like every time I kept inviting him to produce on it, he was like, "Nah, man, this time I need you to do these, man." So I did about like, I don't know, 10 or 12 records, man. Yeah. Yeah. I got a gang of records that didn't even come out.
Yeah, I can imagine what you have at your house.
Oh my
Like
goodness, man. I
R&B
got so many
gold.
records.
I can imagine.
Records, man. You'll see. I'll send them to you.
Yeah, please do. But I want to hear like Donnell and you like could be like releasing in 2025, like a song together would be amazing.
I got so many, man. Some that can come out like, I'm telling you, like I said, I got a lot that can come out right now.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You'll be like, what the heck? Oh my goodness, man. It don't sound nothing like you did this like 9 or 10 years ago. 15 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it sounds like it just came out now.
Yeah. I got them. You'll see. You'll see when I send them.
You have that sound though, like timeless, timeless music, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was really thinking about the future when I was doing those records. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of them records wasn't ready for that time and space like right there. It's like ready for like now. You know what I mean?
That
Like,
futuristic, yeah?
yeah, they was that
Exactly.
futuristic, man. You'll see. I'll send them
You
to
know
you.
what? Please do. And I also just want to like touch on the song you done for TGT, Hurry, as well. Like on that
Oh
album,
yeah.
Three Kings, like that was a great album, and it was so great to see like Tank, Tyrese, and Genuine come together. Like I'm really waiting on the part 2 for that album.
You know what, man? That was for we did. I did it first on Bobby V. Did you hear his version?
No.
Yeah, it's on I think the Rebirth album or the album right after that.
Really? The exact
Yeah,
same song.
yeah. Because I showed Tyrese I was one night because I spent the night at his house like for like 2 months straight because we're like night owls. Like we could stay up till about like 6 or 7 in the morning, right? So
Yeah.
we was up really late. Now I was just going through some tracks, and that track, the instrumental came on. And he was like, "What the heck is that?" I was like, "I did that on Bobby already." He was like, "Man, I don't care, man." He was like, "Keep playing that, man." I played it about like 5 times. He was like, "Hey, man," he's like, "Man, write to that real quick." So I came up, I came up with something different than I came up with Bobby, and then he was like, "Man, he said, let me have some of the other writers, man, that we got in the camp. Let me let them listen to it too and see what they come up with." So that's when everybody started touching it, man. You know what I mean? And then they came up with that. What you
Is
hear
that
on
the
TTT.
times when you met Kenyon as well?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
TGT camp.
That was one of the records. Yeah.
And also you worked on Tyrese's Gonna Give You What You Need. That
Yeah.
song is crazy.
Hey, you know what? You should hear, man, his demo, man.
Really?
He did the demo to it. That was the first record that I did with him.
Who done the demo? Kenyon?
Kenyon, yeah.
Oh,
That was the first record that I did with Kenyon.
wow.
I wrote it. I wrote the whole thing by myself. And Kenyon, he wasn't even a writer. When he heard that, after he heard that and saw me write it, that's when he started writing, man.
Wow. So you
Yeah,
inspired him to start.
he wasn't even writing songs, man. Right there, what made him write songs.
Wow.
Yeah.
That song is very special though. And I bet like seeing you creating it must have been very inspiring, you know?
Yo, I'm gonna send you Kenyon's version, man. You're gonna lose your mind. Oh my lord. Oh.
Yeah, that is one of my favorite Tyrese songs. That song is, and that was like, it wasn't super long ago.
You know what? Really listen to it, man. That's really Kenyon's style, man. Because
Yeah.
I was writing, and when I wrote it, Kenyon was like, "What made you think of that, man? I kind of sing like that." I said, "I was just writing and thinking about you, man." I was thinking about how you sing, and I was like, "How would Kenyon sound? You know, the way he sing. How would he sound on my record?" So I came up with like 10 records, man, for him, and he demoed all of them.
Wow.
And
I
Tyrese
need to
happened to
hear
like
it.
that one. He heard that one, and he recorded it.
I need to hear
Yeah,
the
that one
demo.
and maybe 3 more. Yep.
Yeah, that song. Oh my.
Yeah, that was the best one out of all of them. I can't lie though.
Yeah, that song is insane. That song is so special. But you know
Yeah,
what, Tim? We need to do like a part 2, like talking about your songs.
we do, man. Let's
Because
do it.
you just got so much. You got such a big
You know
catalog.
what? You know what's so crazy? We haven't even went through my catalog by myself. I got a gang of records by myself.
Exactly. But it's like you just got so much. Like I was actually looking at your discography and I was just like, this is crazy. Like you got so much.
Set it up for next week. I'll come back.
Yeah, for sure. Let's definitely do it. Before we go, I just want to ask you about like some of your favorites in R&B. Okay. So I want to know your top 3 modern day R&B classics. So like
Wow.
the last 5 years, what are 3 songs that like stand out to you that you're like that gives you that feel of like the proper essence of R&B?
I would say Lucky Day.
Yeah.
Lucky Days. And then that song, I think D-Mal did it. It go, da, 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 what's the name of that? That song is so bad, man. I'm gonna have to think of the name of it, but
What song? I
let me
want to
see.
know what
Lucky.
song it
I can't remember the name of the song. I love it. I listen to it like almost every day, man.
Was it
I'm gonna get the name
recently
of it.
or?
I'll get the
Yeah.
name of it and I'll text you.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's one.
Yeah.
Then I would have to say maybe one of the songs on Babyface's latest album.
Okay. The one that he done with the women.
Yeah, with all the women.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll say hers record that sampled Making Love in the Rain.
Ah, Damage. That song is
Yeah, I love that.
incredible.
Oh my goodness.
That song is
I'm like, I
different.
thought everybody was gonna go that route, man, and they went a whole nother direction.
Yeah, but
I
you
was
know
like,
what?
okay,
That song, like, oh
yeah, I was
right.
like, okay, this work right here. I like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, okay, dope. And then they just went to like all this weird rap and singing stuff. I was like, what the heck is going on, man?
But you know what? Her is a great artist. Like she's a musician as well, isn't it? So she
Yeah,
really
she is.
cares like about her craft. But I completely agree. Damage is a timeless song again. That's a song that's gonna live on. Like,
Hey,
and
you know
yeah,
what?
sample.
Hey, I'm about to work with her too.
Really?
I'm about to work with her. Yeah. About
I'm
to work
happy
with her
to
in
hear
another
that.
2 weeks.
Wow.
Her manager called me up. I'm gonna work with her in like 2 weeks.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, I'm
That
looking
is
forward to
gonna
that.
be that's
Yeah.
gonna be crazy. You and her. Oh,
Because
because
you know
she's
what?
so
We both play
musical.
guitar. I've been playing guitar
Yeah.
since I was like 5. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how she played right in front of me.
Wow. No, I'm so excited to hear
Yeah, I
that.
can't
You lot are
wait. I'm
gonna
looking
make
forward to it.
you lot are gonna make amazing music because she really has had like
Oh
quite a long
yeah, she's
break.
dope.
But she's had a long break from doing music. Like she was doing the acting. It's been a little
Yeah.
while since we've heard like new music from her. So yeah, hearing that she's working with you, I know that it's gonna be great music that we're gonna
Yep. I got
get.
her. So I got her, SZA. I'm working on
Okay.
SZA, and I'm working
Nice.
on Lucky Day because Lucky Day is signed to one of my little brother. Bob, that was Bobby V's old manager.
Ooh.
What's his
I feel like I
name?
know his name as well.
What's his name? He got Right Hand Management. The guy that's over at Def Jam, he had a label with him.
Okay.
God, what's his name?
I feel like I know Lucky's manager's name as well, but it's just I'm drawing a
Courtney, that's his name.
Courtney.
Yeah. So Courtney's my that's like my little brother, man. So
you're gonna get him with
he manages Lucky Day, and Lucky Day is signed to his label.
Okay.
So that's how I work with Lucky. But he hit me up. He was like, "Big bro, I need you to work on Lucky Day, man." I was like, "Okay, it's light work. I got you."
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm gonna start him in about like I don't know 3 weeks maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what? This is another artist though that really cares about music and is gonna make the R&B that we want. And I feel like the chemistry with you going in with them is gonna be great because they're all there to not make that singing stuff, like rappy stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like actually pushing R&B forward and actually caring about it. So yeah, the music you guys are gonna make magic.
You know what? Let's talk about them 3 artists now next time I come on.
Yeah,
we'll really go deep with it. You know what I mean? I'll let everybody know that I'm gonna produce them, and then we'll talk about them a little more in depth.
For sure. So do you know what? Let me ask you another question. What is your top 3 R&B albums of all time?
Oh man.
I know I'm really putting you on the spot. Do you know what? You've frozen.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Let me fix my phone real quick.
Yeah, you are stuck.
Oh, you know what it is, man? My guy that's working with me with my label, he called me. That's what it is.
Oh, do you need to take the call?
Nah, don't worry about it. Let him just hang out. There we go. There we go.
There, you're back. You're back.
Okay, so you said my favorite 3. Okay, let me really think. Okay, I would have to say Alexander O'Neal's second album that has Sunshine on there.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that song?
My mom brought me up with always on repeat was If You Were Here Tonight. Like that was a song.
Yeah, that was his first album. That was unreal, right? Monty Moore produced that.
Wow. Yeah, that's
a producer named Monty Moore that used to work with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Oh, Jimmy
Jam
and Terry Lewis.
I might have to say, hold on. Oh, he called me again. Wait a minute. I don't want to hang up because then he gonna know that I'm on the phone. Hold on. Who made him hang up?
Just gonna text him.
He'll hang up in a second.
Oh, is he still trying to call? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not frozen though. You're fine this time.
Oh, you can see me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah, you can carry on.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Oh, now you're gone.
Hold on. Here I am. Wait a minute.
Now you're gone.
Hold on. Dang, I can't come back on. Let me see. Hold on.
Where are you?
I know, right? Oh, there we go.
There you go. You're back.
There we go. Okay, so, all right. My 3 albums, you said. Have to be Alexander O'Neal.
Yeah.
That Hearsay album. Then it would be Janet Jackson's, the second one, 1814. That Come Back to Me album.
Oh,
and then
God,
would have to
song.
be, and then would have to be Hotter Than July, man. Stevie Wonder.
Classics.
It had to be them 3 right there.
Amazing.
Either them 3, and then will have to be a second, a fourth really close is Music Soul's Child. Not his first album. I think the first album that had Love on it. Remember that song?
Do you know what?
Oh, that was
Soul
great.
Child, his first album, that was a great
That was unreal, right?
Yeah, I done like a video recently talking about like the greatest R&B debuts.
Oh my goodness!
I had Faith Evans, I had the A. Marie one, and then I had Bobby V. But Music Soul Child was in there as well. It was like 4 or 5 because
you know what? I was trying to think of some albums that I didn't produce. But I was gonna say 3 of mine, but I was like, nah, because it's gonna sound like I picked them because I produced them.
Yeah, but you made great music, so...
Oh, thank you, man.
Go ahead. So I just want to know... Go ahead.
But I was going to say, if I had to pick my 3, it would have to be 112, 112, Monica, and maybe... hey, it was this dude I did on DreamWorks named Daniel. I got to send you his CD. I did the whole album, man. It is crazy. It didn't come out. It's probably the craziest project I ever did. I did the whole album with a string, with all live strings in the background.
Wow.
The whole album.
What year?
It was like 2001.
Okay.
It sounded like George Michael. It sounded like a hip hop George Michael.
Wow.
Yeah, the album is crazy. Oh, let me see if I can find it. Hold on.
That must be really annoying. The fact that that's one of your favorites and it never came out.
I was so mad too, man. Hold on. I think I got it right here.
What do you have it on? Like a CD?
Yeah, because I got a whole box of them. Because his album was going to come out on our label that we had at DreamWorks, but just before his album was going to come, his DreamWorks, what happened was Universal dropped the label. And we was like, you gotta be kidding, man. I think I cried for a week on that, man, because I was like, I cannot believe this album is not gonna come out. I think that's the only album that I really, really was attached to that way, like that. I was just like stunned it wasn't gonna come out.
Because I to the artist afterwards.
You know what? The artist came from over there too. He came from the UK.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Daniel DeBorg is his name.
I feel like the name rings a bell.
He was on a show that was like, can you sing or you can sing or something like that.
The name rings a bell for sure.
Yeah, Daniel DeBorg. Look him up.
I will for sure.
Yeah, I did the whole album, man. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man.
Yeah, it must be like really frustrating. Like having great music and it's just like. Yeah, it never gets released. People don't get to hear it.
It gets to you, man. That was one of the only albums, man, that I did. That one, and then I did one on Michael Jackson too. It didn't come out.
Yeah, that must have been very painful.
Them the 2 albums that I was like bummed they didn't come out.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Man.
So do you know
But don't worry, I'll send them to you.
Please
so you can play it. Because I know you'll give it some light.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
Yeah, I got you.
But can I play them though? Because that's the thing. Like I don't want to
Yeah, you can play them.
To be played.
You can play them because I own all my publishing.
Okay, as long as you're saying it, because like, yeah, if it's not officially released, I always worry about if it's okay, you know. But if Tim Kelley's saying it, it's all good.
You know what? Like Bob don't own his publishing, man. I own all mine. I own 100% of mine, so I'm good. Don't worry about it. I got you.
Okay,
everything I send to you is 100% owned, so don't worry.
Okay, perfect.
I got you.
So I want to know, Tim, being one of like the greatest R&B producers, I want to know, who do you think are some greats in this current generation that are making R&B?
Woo.
In terms of producers.
What producers will make it?
Yeah, producers right now in R&B. Who are some that you think are great at what they're doing?
I think one of Rich Harrison's songs, the one he did on Beyonce that was big.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
something that crazy, right?
Crazy in Love.
Yeah, that her and Jay-Z did. I think that can come out right now. Then I think
sure.
Music Soul Child, that one that he did, As Long As Your Love Don't Change, that one, that was crazy.
Oh my, don't change. You see when I was talking about crying earlier, that song every time.
Yeah,
every
that's
time
crazy.
I'm crying. Like
that'll have you crying, man, every single day.
Literally. That's one of the most perfect R&B songs. Like
that's a pretty song, man. I think Missing You would do good right now.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Because it's saying
that's a classic.
Like the snow coming down, it's the way it's like really metaphoric, you know what I mean? Yeah, so I think that'll do good right now. Then I think Now That We're Done will do good.
That's a
and I think Tell Me will do good.
Yeah, for sure. All of them. But that's the thing, like when you were creating, it's like it's something that you can play in like 30 years time and it still sounds fresh, you know?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. I think it's because of the melody. I think that'll kind of do good right now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So with people that are producing R&B right now, like with the Lucky Days and the Victorias, is there any producers that you really like what they're doing, like with their sound at these times?
I like D-Mile that we was talking about.
Yeah.
I like man, it's not too many, man.
You mentioned Camper before to me though.
Who?
Camper.
Oh yeah, DJ Camper, my guy. He's a good producer. I like him. I can't say any of the other producers because they was like out my day, like Stevie J and all them. Like I like them. But let me see some producers that's doing it now.
I mean, to be honest with you, I think D+More and Camper are the two leaders in R&B anyway, personally for me. Like, that would be my answer. So you don't need to, if you can't think of any on the top of your head, like, I feel like them two are the two leaders. In, like,
you know why? Because it's not a lot of producers that write right now. My little brother, that's Rockstar, he's good. He write too.
Okay.
Yeah, he's one of the only ones that he can do tracks and he can write.
Okay.
So Rockstar's in there. And then I can't think of no more, man. Them the only three I can think of.
I get it. I'm with you. So, Tim, let everyone know your socials and where they can stay connected.
Okay, you can check me out, man, on IG at I am Tim Kelley. That's the only thing I got going right now, man. I know everything is out, like Facebook. I don't got Facebook. I don't got. I don't have what's the all the other ones? Yeah, I don't have any of the other ones. I just have IG. You can find me at I am Tim Kelley, Kelley. If you need to get a hold of me, if you think you can sing, I mean, like, send some demos, man. I want to hear you, all right? That's how you can get a hold of me.
I love to hear that. And do you know what, Tim? I want to say thank you so much for coming on R&bsauce and for your time. Thank you for everything that you've contributed to R&B. You are a legend, and I cannot wait to hear the new music from you. Thank you.
Thank you, man. You know, it's a pleasure, man.